Open the box, Joe!
No.
Hey, Mark, when you died, you
No,
said you saw
Peter.
nothing but blackness. How did you know you saw blackness only?
What are you talking about?
You told me you died on the operating table and you said you saw nothing but blackness.
No, I didn't. What are you talking about?
I thought we were going to talk about
You
Claire.
were the one that did Mark Reed. You were the one. I was talking
I
to
have
you.
no idea what Jason is talking
You've
about.
never ever died on the operating table.
No, I don't know. What are you talking? I've never claimed that ever.
Mark Reed, you never claimed that.
Jason,
You
here's a
said,
tiny
mate,
clue.
I'm
If you
I am
died,
sure
unless
it
you
was
are
you.
Jesus, you wouldn't be here.
Look,
I'm just
Jason,
saying.
either like I don't know what I've never claimed that ever in my life. If you can find a clip of me claiming that, great.
I'm going to have
do
to
so,
contact, I think it was on Standing for Truth's channel one time when he had an open channel and we were talking about this, or it was on John Maddox's channel. I asked you about this and you said that you died once on the operating table. So you never died.
What are you talking about?
It must be
I've
someone
never
else.
claimed
Well,
that.
I've obviously got it wrong. Listen to these idiots.
Jason, you shouldn't be drinking when you're watching YouTube. You shouldn't be drinking.
Okay. So I've never been on a Standing for Truth show apart from debating on his channel, right? So I don't think I've ever been on an after show or anything like that. I've been on John's channel, but
I said about my friend that died. He died. My friend, he died.
Jason, if you're either going to let me talk or you're just going to yell incoherently, what are you going to do?
My friend died from a massive heroin overdose. in a bath. He died.
Yeah, well, I'm really
and
sorry
you
about
said,
that.
I died on the operating table and I saw nothing but blackness.
I never did. Look, there are people that have reported. Okay, Jason, if you're not going to let me speak,
Sorry.
Seriously, mate, just let me speak. I have said people have reported seeing nothing after dying. I've never claimed that myself, that I've died on the operating table.
Doug saw nothing as well when he died. Pitch black darkness, liquid darkness, just pitch black. How do they know they saw nothing? So they saw nothing when they died. How do they know they saw nothing when they died?
I don't know. I've never claimed to see it myself.
Okay, all right, okay. I thought
you are out of your mind. I don't know what's wrong with you. Go and
I'm not out of my mind, mate. I just agreed with you that I was wrong. I just agreed with you, and I'm out of my mind.
Mark. It's okay.
I just agree.
Yeah, it's just weird to be attacked for saying something that I have never.
You shouldn't bear false witness on a Christian channel.
Well. Good morning, my beauties and bees. Welcome to the first episode of Live from the Hive for spooky season. We got a spooky episode for our October 7th. I am glad to see everybody here. Sorry I messed up the time for when I had this scheduled. I didn't even notice until I opened up my thing to launch it. And I'm like, oh man, it was like 9:04 or something like that. So thank you everybody for making it. And thank you for your patience muddling through a lot of that intro stuff. I just wanted to remind everybody about the time Mark Reed died. So I'm just thinking that since this is Mark Reed 2.0, or should we call him just Mark 2, like an Iron Man suit, Mark 1 and Mark 2. We call him Mark 2. Anyway. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I went for like a witchy look. Actually, I was wearing the same thing last night when I was because I put on this sweater when it got cold last night, and I went into Stool's stream, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just pop in for a minute, and I'm like, I'll just put my hood up and just do my minimum makeup, and I'm like, ooh, that looks good. I mean, what if I put some bright lipstick on? It really makes it pop. And I went into Stool, so I had to come and replicate that today because I think it looks good. They said I look like a Jedi. I was kind of going for like witch, but a Jedi works too. I'll be a Jedi. Jedis are kind of witches, right? So that's good. But yeah, I'm trying to be more confident in my appearance and such. So, and this is my natural hair and whatnot. So yeah, I'm glad you like the look there, Sandy. Mwah. And yeah, so I don't have too much of an opening crawl for you this morning, but this is good because that the Mark Reed intro is a little bit long, but I love it. I love the he died on the operating table. It's what's that guy's name? I can't remember. It was just on the screen too. I was busy doing all my setup stuff, but it just makes me laugh every time. I like to put together these little clips and stuff for you guys. I do like to bring people to light, that are my friends, especially like Mark, who just got to 1,500. If you look at my channel, I'm just approaching 1,100 right now. So, yeah, if you got any friends who aren't subscribed or subscribed. I almost said prescribed, but yeah. If you got any friends that aren't subscribed to the channel, let them know. We have some fun over here every Saturday morning. Yeah. Am I a good witch or a bad witch? Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it? I am getting in touch with my inner force too. I practice in my Jedi mind trick. You will subscribe. You will all create new accounts and subscribe your mom and dad and everybody else to Live from the Hive. Prescribed works, yeah. It's a prescription, yeah. This is for my mental health. This is my prescription. This is about all I've been able to do lately. So, it really is, because life's been a little bit challenging here the last couple of weeks. So, this is for me. This is the only thing I've been doing. I'd like to do more on the channel. Really, I would, but I just don't have it in me during the week anymore. I was doing some different shows and stuff in the evenings, and now it's like, I'll just do it I'll do this for Live from the Hive instead. So I like shoehorn everything in. But I'd like to do more debate reviews. I'd like to do more bad science reviews with some guests. And different by bad science than the ones we do over on Maya. I'm talking about bad science where like the dinosaur videos that have all the wrong information and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. I call them sci-fails on my channel. I think I do have one on the agenda for today if we have time for it. Yeah, got 24 deadliest animals you'll be glad to know are extinct. Later on in the show. That's going to wrap up the show too. So stick around for that. We got a lot of show to get to. We got CryptoCorner, which is going to be our final episode of the Halloween Cats. So what we've done so far, we did the first week. We did Tig Harum in the big ears, the horned cat, and then last week we did. Kate Shee and the Kellis cat, which was, a very real animal. And then we got around to this week, which is going to be another mystery cat. And if you haven't heard me talk about it yet, you're going to be in for a surprise. But I will see you guys over in CryptoCorner. Especially on these episodes, I'm always going to wait until that cat finishes transforming and stretching, which happens at the end of the opening segment every time. But hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to CryptoCorner, where we wrapping up our kitties of the night, our little terrors segment. So this is a show where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. So, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Sorry for my preamble. I just like that kitty stretch in there. It really sells the show or the episode, and it is animation I actually made myself, which is always a nice touch when it's homemade. Thank you so much. I just want to say, and this will be immortalized on this episode of CryptoCorner, thank you so much, First Vandalia, for upgrading your membership to being a Creation Watcher. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, Creation Watch is the next segment, and we have some more scary Halloween stuff. So it's just gonna be like a Halloween heavy episode. But I hope you guys are here for it. I love spooky season. I hope you do too. And then I want to thank Regios for gifting all these memberships to these fantastic people in the side chat, and kind of exposing some lurkers too, aren't ya? I didn't know so many people were in the midst, hanging out and watching. Now I know some names. Hello and thank you for. I'm not going to call you out because it sounds like you want to, just watch and listen. That's great, but thank you so much for sticking with me and being part of the show. Because everybody who hangs out, either when I do these live or when I cut up the segments for their evening time slots, whichever group you fall into, I appreciate your viewership. And please keep coming back. I love doing shows like this, and we're going to get super weird with it tonight because this one takes us to the U.S. Capitol, because we are actually looking at something called the Demon Cat. And let me tell you, it's very different from the other demon cat that we've looked at. So I will say, we want this one. I will say the idea what this demon cat might be is a bit different as far as its origins. But I'm not gonna read this. I just wanted to show you some of the stuff about it. It dates back pretty far, but we're actually gonna let this channel tell us about it. We've had Fernando narrate tales for us in the past, and I do like the channel. Willem DeFalco is the channel's name. I don't know why, but he covers stuff like this and just kind of tells the narrative about it, and kind of I like his casual approach and demeanor. So we're gonna roll with it because yeah, why not? So here we go. Yeah, Ghost and Spirit. Subscribe. Yeah, go subscribe to William DeFalco for helping provide a narrative for us today.
This is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits podcast. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll make a Ghost of the Week entry here. This one was actually suggested.
Let me know how the audio is. Because if not, I have to go back. If it's off, I have to go back in and manually edit it. And sometimes it's a pain. It was a pain with the one that released last night, the Animal Whisperer episode. I had so much hassle with the audio on it to edit it down because she was speaking so soft in some of those videos. So let me know. I think it sounds all right though. Good morning, Dee.
That shit on one of my cryptids suggestions pages, and so I saw it there, and of course I realized this will be more fitting for the Ghosts and Spirits podcast. And so this one, when I saw the information, I thought to myself, you know what, this is pretty interesting. So instead of waiting to, let's say, showcase this the next go-around of my Ghosts and Spirits series, I wanted to go ahead and make it as a Ghost of the Week, so that way I could share it for you here. Found it very, very interesting. I hope you do too. And it has to do with a particular ghost or spirit that currently houses perhaps one of the most well-known locations in the United States. It's a place that I've been to before, twice now. Never heard of this. Otherwise, if I would have heard of this ghost, I would have definitely looked for it the next time I go around. And it has to do with, instead of, let's say, a person.
Yeah, let's work something out, Vandalia. Thank you again for your 5 months of membership. Beautiful. So much love from the Hive for your friend. Cats are evil overlords. We could do a whole episode on that. You want to do an episode on evil cats? Did you see the thing with Jill? I had another video that I cut in with Jill talking about cats being satanic. It's pretty funny, but we aren't watching that one today, but maybe next time.
person an animal. It's called the Demon Cat of Washington, D.C., but it goes by a more, I guess, funny term. It's just called the initials DC, meaning for demon cat. And so for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and go by those initials too, because apparently this particular ghost is a well-known ghost there in Washington, D.C., especially by the employees that work anywhere around, let's say, most of the government buildings.
So, Dr. Mordecai, there are no cats in the Bible. I think that's a true fact. I've not been able to find any, like if you search like the Bible Hub and stuff like that, I don't find any mention of cats. I think they mentioned mongooses though, which is weird because, I mean, mongooses are there too in that region and used for the same purposes and domesticated sort of to the same level. Cats just, I don't know, became more prominent, I guess, because the way that they breed and how freaking amazing they are at honey's. The people might get the impression that because of these videos and stuff that I hate cats, or because I advocate like eradicating cats and like in isolated populations, right? Like I'll say, yeah, eradicate cats from this island where, you know, there's these rare birds and rare mammals or rare lizards or rare frogs, so that the native species don't get wiped out, so these endemic populations aren't destroyed. So a lot of people think, oh, you just hate cats. It's like, no, cats are just really too good at what they do. They're the perfect animal in that weight category. I mean, they outdid, you know, mongoose, another animal in that area of size and price type is ferrets. They outcompeted them. Terriers, little terriers and like wiener dogs and stuff, they're actually really good. If you train them right, they're really the most efficient animal at doing ratting and doing and just rodent control in general. If you train them right to go after them, they're better than a cat at it. Because cats will only do it when they feel like it, when they're in the mood, as we all know, is cat owners. Yes, cats are OP. Dr. Tap said it best. Why is my chat box not coming up? What's going on? Chat box? Anyway, yeah, but this is a cat from Washington, D.C. It's like in the Capitol building and stuff. But not just the Capitol building, as we'll see. I'm a super cat lover. No mention of domestic cats in the Bible. Yeah. I think there's like lions and stuff though. Yeah, if you talk about wild cats.
There in the Capitol. So for their sake, I'm going to go ahead and list and talk about this and just go by the initials DC. But yes, it is a very, very fascinating ghost and spirit. So here's how it goes. You have to go straight to the Capitol, and the U.S. Capitol, in other words, and there, if you go towards certain particular areas, then you can come across this particular animal spirit. It's a cat, but it's a cat that can apparently change sizes and can do other things altogether, and I'll talk about that just here in a minute. First, a brief history as to where this cat could have come about. Back then, when the Capitol first opened, let's say it was built and it was ready to go, there was a lot of cats that were brought in to essentially take care of a whole bunch of...
I get it. I used to daydream about being able to have a pet lynx. I was like, oh my god, if I could have any animal as a pet in the whole world, it'd be a big fluffy Eurasian lynx, one of the ones that is like leopard sized, but instead of being in proportion like a leopard where they're long and short, and they're tall and kind of like a dog, and they're lanky, and they got floppy ear tassels, and short tails, and huge feet. A lynx's foot, despite how small they are, a lynx has feet like that. They're so huge, as big as my head. So their beans are huge. They have the biggest beans, toe beans. But you can't really have a lynx because they're not, they're not domesticated. Something like the closest you can get would be having a hybrid, not the golden cat. What's the serval and the domestic cat? What is the hybrid called? It'll come to me. We'll watch the video anyway. You love big beans and you cannot lie.
Of rats that were around the U.S. Capitol. It's a common feature. Cats are the most prolific and best hunters when it comes to killing.
That might be right, Bingles. That might be. He just said something wrong here too, because.
And best hunters when it comes to cats are the most prolific and best hunters when it comes to killing rats, and by in turn
false, because like I said, the terriers are actually better at it, much better, but they have to be trained. But once they're trained, they're so much better. They're so efficient. They can do like hundreds of rats in a building. They can just go in and get them all. It's quite impressive. I'll have to pull up some pictures of them doing that. But yeah, that's not correct. But cats are effective predators, probably the most effective predator of small animals, but not the most efficient ratters. But when you add in predation of birds and reptiles and fish, like pond fish and things like that, even babies of large birds and some large species of wildcat will take down lambs and deer fawn if they're small enough. But so will an armadillo. An armadillo will drag off a lamb or a calf, or try to drag off a calf. I got to show you all some videos about that. I think it'll be next week. Because it's gonna be like. We're gonna talk about, or I'm not gonna talk about it. We're gonna have a short video with armadillos showing you all some of the crazy stuff about them. There'll be other animals too, but just doing some creepy creatures features, creepy creature feature, but for the season, right? With animals that maybe you don't associate with the spooky season, but perhaps you should. So, yeah.
As far as I know, they don't get any of the, let's say, diseases that the rats do. Their body just seems to naturally take care of things. Somebody may have to correct me on this, but that's why they are very, very proficient, and they're always brought in whenever it comes to new locations to try to get rid of these rats. Well, once that job was finished and the U.S. Capitol was ready to go, most of those cats were adopted, or they just left on their own, maybe to become kind of like nomad cats. But the theory goes that there was one cat that particularly loved the U.S. Capitol and was not going to leave. So much so that even when it died, its spirit there now haunts the U.S. Capitol itself. It's much like the tales that we hear about human ghosts and spirits that haunt a particular location. They grew so fond of this location over who knows how many years or sometimes decades that even after death they still linger in that same area. Same concept, but in this case it has to do with a cat whose favorite location was apparently the U.S. Capitol. And so the idea goes that if you're there in the U.S. Capitol, and if you want to see you get a good chance of seeing this particular cat.
There we go. My chat's going now. I don't know what was going on with it. You saying, Dr. Mordecai, my fog van ripped a squirrel up? Fog dog. Your dog ripped a squirrel up. I gotcha. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's never a pleasant thing to deal with her when they get a hold of some rabbits. Yeah, I did pull up. Here, I'm going to show you guys real quick. I did pull up some images of terriers doing their thing. So the problem is that, let me see, I can zoom it in here for you. Those are all freaking rats that these terriers pull in. So terriers will they'll rip through some rats. These dogs right here. They're efficient at it. Oop, that's not till later. Get back to Fernando.
You have to go to a portion of the Capitol that has to do with burial chambers, and it's more along the lines of, I think it's called the United States Capitol Crypt. It sounds pretty, I guess, frightening, the name of it, but all it is essentially is it seems to be a room that's underneath the Capitol Rotunda, and it's another place that offers like historical information. In fact, you're looking at some of the pictures of it here. So even though it says the word crypt within it, nowhere near is it anything as far as, let's say, tombstones or gravestones.
It's gorgeous, right? Look at that. Look at the woodwork. I love that archaic woodwork with the stone floors, chandeliers, archways. Very classy. Very historic.
Or anything along those lines. But if you go just a little bit outside of that crypt, you're going to see a gate of some sort. And near that gate, which you're looking at a picture here, that's where this thing, this DC, this demon cat, apparently has its home. It's called, its official name is supposed to appear in the basement of the Senate near what's called the Catafalque storage room. That's quite a unique name, but that's apparently where it's located. And it was one of the earliest places where a president's casket would be placed whenever he was in a state, let's say in a viewing area there in the rotunda. I don't know if it's currently used anymore for any of such purposes.
There's a giant kitty right now. Look how huge it is. That's part of the lore, though, that the kitty gets giant. Savannah cats, thank you. It was escaping my brain. I kept thinking of like Pompous cat, but I'm thinking of Pompous cat because of another thing that we're covering later in the show. So, duh. And the Savannah cat, yeah, the Bengal cat has a wild cat ancestor too. I just can't think of which one it is.
Only because I never really looked into that history per se, so if someone has that information, if it's still currently used that way, that'd be great to hear. But at least for the sake of this demon cat, that's where this particular spirit or ghost tends to be or located. So if you're on the hunt and let's say you want to see and have a good chance of seeing this thing, then that's where it's at.
A good chance? What are the chances of seeing it? As far as I know, and from the lore, it's only been seen by like the night guards and stuff, right? And some select sightings.
By the way, in order to see it, the tales go that you have to be by yourself. If you're in a group, then you're out of luck because this particular DC does not like having groups around it. It will only apparently appear if you're by yourself.
Aunt Jer, you are my MVP today. You got that hybrid list pulled up. Thank you, babe. Unless I'm not saying you don't know that. Just if you do have that hybrid list pulled up, let us know what else hybridizes with domestic cats because I'm interested. I know that there are a lot of species that do. I just haven't really dug too deep into it. Big cats, I'm like all over. I love all the learning about all the crossbreeding between different big cats, and there is a feline a feline that's been crossed with a pantherine, which is the puma and the leopard made a pumapard. There have been different subfamilies. As far as I know, they're the mammal with the furthest distance between two ancestors that have successfully been been crossbred. But the puma part, unlike like a liger, was instead of getting the giantism, it got like a state of dwarfism. So they're really small. They were about the size of a bobcat. So they weren't as desired as these like giant hybrids or leopard and lion hybrids, which are have the spots in the manes, or there's the I shared it with Tsunami. I think I shared it with all you guys. The hybrid between the jaguar and the lion, the Jagulions. They are freaking like gorgeous looking, but of course you don't want to have hybrids, but it's interesting to find out what can hybridize. Let me see. Those hybrids sound cool, but is it ethical to breed them? Exactly. I don't know about the ethical reply for any predation abolitionist watching. There's a difference between our fuck ups and collapsing an ecosystem by forcing our will. Yeah, harkening back to our conversation about predator abolitionism. Let's see, I had to take my dad's terrier. I'm a Labrador kind of guy. Cool. Yeah, about the hybrids. Let's see, what else did we got? I pulled up jungle cat crossed with domestic cat. Is it Chaucy? Tiger King ruined me. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I think taking big cats out of the hands of people like that is important. Unfortunately, we do need to have these animals in captivity because they aren't doing well in the not captivity, right? They're not doing their natural habitat, which we have no control over. We have to depend on these foreign nations, which may or may not have good policies, and may or may not be able to properly police control over the big cats. Unfortunately, they aren't available. So having people that are willing to breed big cats in captivity is important. However, the state of their captivity is important, and what they're doing with them. If they're crossbreeding to get white genes, for instance, get the white tigers and white lions. If they're inbreeding them like that, not ethical. If they're inbreeding them to get breeds like ligers and stuff, not good. Not good if they're doing that stuff on purpose. I don't think that's ethical. But if they're doing it for conservation, to make sure that we still have these organisms in existence, to make sure that they're there for future generations to understand, that they're there for when one day we got our shit together as a species, we are able to stabilize ecologies for them, whether it comes with, I know it sounds silly and futuristic, but whether it comes with terraforming other planets or other places for natural wildlife to thrive. That'd be amazing. Your mom lives close to Carol Baskins.
Which is kind of like, it kind of defeats the purpose, because if you're going on any kind of ghost hunts, you want to make sure that you're a friend so that way everyone can see it at the same time. Otherwise, if you're the only one that sees it and you try explaining it, obviously people will look at you and they'll be, yeah, sure, right, you saw this thing, absolutely.
It's for the same reason that you might do, that you have to do Bloody Mary alone. It's easier to trick one person's brain into thinking to cause yourself to prime your brain to react and see something. It's the same. It's the same concept. That's why you have to do it alone, because not everybody's going to see it. Not everybody's going to have a reaction, but the ones who do have a good reaction. I think Maine Coons are just a domestic breed that developed to be giant and have lots of floof, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Maine Coons and the Norwegian forest cats are both huge, like monstrous felines. And they're not. There's no wildcat breed in them. They're just. Well, I mean, there may be wild. They may have some European wildcat in their ancestry, at least for the Norwegian forest cat. It might be a hybrid between domestic cats and in at least somewhere in their ancestry, but I don't know about Maine Coons. I'll have to look into that.
But if you're in a group and they see it, then that makes it so much better. But obviously this DC has different ideas. Now, as far as how it looks like, basically it's an average household size black cat, at least at the very beginning. Because the idea is those people that have encountered this particular ghost/spirit, they say that it looks like an average house cat. It's completely black. But when they're by themselves and this thing starts approaching them, it does the unique feature where it starts, the word is swelling. But I think a better word would have been like it starts growing. It actually starts growing larger and larger. It's so much so that people are doing like double takes. They can't believe what they're seeing altogether. And people have stated that it grows to the size of a giant tiger, about 10 feet by 10 feet. So it's a...
And we've been here before the last couple of weeks. If you've been watching live from the Hive, we talked about the Teghirum thing where they put the cat on the spits, keep the Scottish people just like keep the cat turning, and they put the cat on the spit, and it's and then all the other cats appear, and then a giant cat appears. So it's like similar phenomena, right? That's what I like about this stuff. We can kind of link it all together and say, hey, is there some kind of primordial mindset to the idea that, hey, if we were smaller, cats would just nom us. That'd be terrifying. So it's a grower, not a shower. Exactly, Dr. Tap. Exactly. I'm glad that that you guys are following the context, because
it's a giant, massive state by the time it reaches the person. And this is the
giant, massive state. When you enter that giant, massive state, and she gives you that look.
With the whole intention, apparently, of this DC of frightening the bejesus out of anyone it encounters, because what happens next, people...
Ooh, that's right. Freya and her chariot of giant cats. Let me pull a picture of that for you guys. Yeah, we're going to look at that real quick, because that's pretty awesome. Ooh, I like this one. Where's the open image thing? There it is. All right. Here we go. Check this out. You could put anybody's face in this image, so let me know if you want to have your face put over Freya with her kitties, and I'll do it. I keep going back to that one. There's our rats. There you are. Okay. And back to the shell.
What I reported is it'll actually start running straight to them. So again, imagine you have this thing that just a couple of seconds ago was the size of a house cat. Now it's the size of 10 feet tall.
I think Maya, you guys are killing me today. You guys are killing me. You're keeping me busy though. The chat is popping off today, you guys.
And then on top of that, it's running straight towards you. People also report that its eyes seem to be glowing a very bloodish, like reddish tone to them. And in other cases, it seems to be more on the lines of yellow eyes, like some cats tend to have, but it's glowing in some sort. And then it just runs straight at the person.
I think it depends on what color the cat's eyes are. I think which color it reflects. I had a white cat with a green and blue eye, and they reflected different colors. I can't remember which reflected what color though, but they reflected different colors from each other. All the green-eyed cats' eyes reflected red, and I think that the blue-eyed cat's green eye reflected red, and its blue eye reflected like a yellow. I think that's the way that it was reflecting. That sounds right to me, if I remember correctly. Yeah, an image of Freya naked in her chariot. Yeah, I'm sure Freya's a hottie too. So.
Person, and whenever it's at the point where it's right about to hit them, it either just explodes. I don't know if it explodes in a sense like it just vanishes like let's say a giant poof of some sort, or
giant poof I've had cats that I would just describe as a giant poof, but I would also describe them as swelling too. He said he would rather describe them as growing, not swelling, but I'm like, no, every kitty I've had, especially the boys, when you get them fixed, they go whoosh, and they're just giant poofs. I had this one big yellow cat named Lucky. I had him for years, from when I was a kid. I got him for my 13th birthday, and I had him until I was, I want to say like 22 or something like that. No, I wasn't that old because he got sick. But he got huge. He was a big old boy. He was so sweet too.
It disappears outright right before it's about to catch the person that it's hunting. So quite a frightful experience. This is not something that should be taken lightly if you come across this thing, because if you do see it, be on the lookout and be expected to have something as far as this type of encounter. Nothing harmful though. For all the scare that it tries to muster, it does not have any scratches, it does not create any bite marks, nothing along those lines. All it seems to do is it wants to make sure that it scares the crap out of someone before it disappears. At least in an indirect manner, people have been harmed in some way, because people reportedly passed out right before the cat was able to pounce on them, and then someone else, I think I was reading somewhere, had like some kind of minor heart attack, understandably so, when they saw this thing running straight through them. And when that happened, then I don't know if they died later on or if they suffered something else altogether. But those are the more indirect transactions that occurred. Two known instances that happened. One was in 1862 and another one was in 1898. What had happened here was there were some guards that were patrolling the area, and in both instances they reported to have shot at...
Yeah, a cat jump scare is cats know how to do that. That's just what they do. So, these people need to watch a horror movie so they know that the cat jump scare is not actually the problem, and it's foreboding something worse happening. That's how it works in Hollywood.
And what they described as a large black cat that grew to the size of a tiger. So when that happened, you have something as far as actual let's say counterattacks. Nothing of course happened to the cat because it's a ghost/spirit, so no doubt the bullets themselves just passed right through them. No real concrete evidence though. I'm trying to see if maybe there was any newspaper...
Why would you open fire on a cat? Don't shoot the kitty. What's wrong with you? Giant floof. The giant floof and a big old poof.
Clippings or something along the lines of some kind of report that was officially drafted about those incidents, but no, nothing really along those lines. By the way, if you want any what's considered physical proof of this cat that you can see to this day without actually having to encounter the cat, if you go across to another part, it's by the concrete area of the old Senate Rotunda. If you're there, look for an area that has some paw prints permanently.
It's got some kitty prints in the concrete. Apparently. I don't know, that doesn't look like kitty prints to me, but I mean, a house cat the size of a tiger, yeah, I would. What, open fire on it? Are you sure you read that somewhere and they're sure it wasn't nowhere? Anybody open fire on my babies are about to have a gunfight. You get them, girl.
Cast right into that concrete. I've included a picture of them here. According to the people that states about this DC and what it does and how it lives there, these are the actual prints of the cat itself, that somehow it just was able to print itself in a permanent manner there as a reminder to everyone.
Now that does look like cat paw prints. And I do want to say to you guys that I don't blame you for having a different reaction than I would to seeing a big cat. My reaction is going to be, I want to pet it and stuff. I'm not going to be scared. As long as you don't make the cat feel threatened and it knows you see it, for the most part. I could show you videos of like in like Africa and stuff. They chase, like, a guy with a stick chases like a pride of lions away from his cows. It's not like, it's when they ambush you that's the problem. But if they see you and you see them, you win for the most part. And ones that are in captivity that might associate you with food are more likely to are more likely to be problematic than a wild one. Wild one's probably going to run away from you. It's the ones that are raised in captivity that really can become problematic. Obviously, there's prolific man-eaters, but they almost always have some kind of physiological restraints, some anatomical issue, whether it's with their jaw or their paw, or maybe a broken tooth, something that's hindering them from being able to hunt their regular prey, so they ambush humans. But other than that, most wild cats are going to run away from you. The most dangerous ones in the wild are probably tigers, but that's because they're just so dang good at camouflaging themselves that they still, and of course, lions and tigers and leopards all evolved alongside Homo sapiens, so they've kind of they know what's up. Anyway, enough lore.
Yeah, yes, this particular black cat could be waiting for you at any moment when you're by yourself there in that area. More than likely, though, as is the case, it just makes much more sense that there was fresh concrete at the time and some cat just decided to walk across it. But now that it's there, people just loosely tie it to this DC, whatever this demon cat is of Washington, D.C. But other than that, not too many other stories. There are some loose tie-ins with regards to this cat almost being like a Mothman of sorts. It's supposed to appear every single time that there's some kind of major tragic event. Like, for example, people have reportedly stated that it appeared or was seen right before the assassinations of John F. Kennedy and then also all the way back to Abraham Lincoln. It apparently also appeared right before the death of Franklin Roosevelt. Others stated that it doesn't even have to do with political stuff. It can be more.
So there's kind of a black dog lore being woven into this, like to give it some of this, or maybe even similar to a banshee, like the ability to forecast the death of a U.S. president. That's interesting. I like that. I like that lore. Do I think it's real? No, I don't think this is actually a thing that exists. I think that some of the background on it, that there's misidentifications and of domestic cats. I think the story goes that the guy was laying on the ground, passed out drunk. One of the night guards was, and the cat was like was running up to him, seeing if he had any food or something along those lines. You're laying on the ground and a cat runs up to you with a forced perspective, and it looks like it's getting bigger and scare the crap out of you. You jump out of your bed, or not out of your bed, out of your, or jump up from wherever he was passed out at, and runs away because there's a giant cat coming at him. And boom, you have a tiger, tiger, burning bright, bright in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye hath framed thy fearful symmetry? I love that poem. Thank you. Mothman, what I call my buddy Tim. Yeah. I wouldn't mind a cat-shaped Mothman. That'd be cute. Cats were at every major human event. It's a cat conspiracy. A cat-spiracy, if you will. Epic airfoil. Call this cat the CIA because it foretold JFK's death. Yeah. I don't know. Aunt Jer. Let's see what Aunt Jer said. Oh, yeah. Get that booger. I'm all hopped up on caffeine and phonics over here. All right, Al. Keep it rolling. All right, we're gonna keep it rolling because we're 12 minutes in, and yeah, we're filling the time slot though. So no worries. Let's get back to the video though.
On the lines of major events, for example, people reportedly seeing it somewhere around there in the capital area right before the stock market crashed, the major one of 1929. And then also people just apparently report it even when it's not anything tragic altogether. Essentially, every time there's a whole new president being sworn in.
So now I kind of feel I was like digging this cat and like into it and stuff, and now I kind of feel like he's a crypto bro. It's like, dude, you gotta watch your account, and you gotta keep those stocks and forexes or whatever. It's like, oh, come on now. Yes, a cat-spiracy is what I said. I said what I said. Hey, Tux, good to see ya.
A couple days or either the day of, people report seeing this black cat roaming the areas as well. But that's about it. There's no other real instance of it, let's say, being on a timely schedule. It's just more along the lines of like the Mothman, where when people see it, it alerts them that, hey, something bad could be happening altogether sometime soon. So whether that's true or not, it's up to yourself to try to decide.
Says, you know what you are? You're in the jungle, baby. Time to die. Yeah. Guns N' Roses. Does that make me old that I quote Guns N' Roses? I don't know.
Side. As far as one last explanation of what this cat is, there's the idea that it's nothing other than, let's say, a tall tale that kind of took on a life of its own amongst the people there in Washington, D.C.
Diamond Beans sounds like a great name for the cat instead of the demon cat. We'll call it Diamond Beans. Diamond Hands, yeah.
DC Apparently back in the 1940s, during that time period, there was the police force, the Capitol Police Force that was there. Apparently they were known for hiring like friends of friends, relatives, people that weren't necessarily the best or qualified for let's say patrolling the U.S. Capitol, but like anything involving hiring friends of friends, hey, it's who you know what I mean? So when that happened, these people that were hired apparently would get drunk a lot of times, and on one occasion there was one security guard, one of these friends of friends, that got so drunk that he passed out, but when he woke up he was actually being licked by a cat. But
that's the story I was talking about. You know, any you cat owners out there, you've woke up with your cat in your face, right? I'm like, woof. It's even weirder when you're like visiting somebody and you don't have a cat, so you're not used to it, and you wake up with a cat in your face.
But he was so drunk that he thought he was actually standing up, and so he couldn't believe his eyes. There he was in his.
Yes, that's the Washington Demon Cat roller derby team. Go Cats! Go Cats! I like roller derby. I think that roller derby is awesome sport, so you girls get it. Get it, girls!
Mine standing up, and there was this cat licking, I guess, somewhere near his face, and he thought to himself, oh my goodness, this cat must be humongous. What am I seeing? And so he told someone else about it. They told someone else. It's that game where the legend grows, information grows from one year to another, and by this point, that's where we have this demon cat legend starting altogether. So there's that perspective too, that it's not.
See, and he's got the white hairs on his chest too, like we talked about last week, that all the magical cats have little patches on their chest or their forehead. Remember, it's all part of the lore, people. We got to keep the cat lore together. It's all cohesive, right? It's all the same.
Nothing more than just your average tall tale that's told among some people, and then it just takes on a life of its own. It's so much so to the point that apparently people that work there use the excuse that they were so scared of witnessing this thing or.
Is there an NFL team from Washington, D.C.? I didn't know that. I don't know a lot of NFL stuff. I don't own a cat, but I have woken up that way with a cat in your face. Yeah. I've woken up that way several times. I've had cats and I don't have any cats right now. I'd love to get a cat, but I can't get a cat living here. So I can't have a cat. I can't have any kind of pet in my apartment, unfortunately. But we'll see what the future holds. Because I love animals.
Having witnessed this particular demon cat, that when that happened, they themselves wanted to have a day off, and so people were somewhat using it as an excuse to say, hey, I want a day off, I saw this demon cat, I'm too scared, and then, okay, sure, there's your day off. So take it from that perspective too. But what do you guys think?
Heck yeah, I would love to have a free day off just by saying I saw a ghost cat. I'd just be like, yeah, I saw a ghost cat. Can I have Friday off? And they'd be like, yeah. Waking up to a cat is always less shocking than waking to a ferret. The ferrets are always more bitey. Now, I've done both because my daughter has ferrets, and they're so adorable. They get up under your chin and kind of with their wet noses. Cats don't usually do that. Cats usually, if they get up underneath your chin, they do it with the top of their head. I love playing with ferrets because the way they bounce, so much fun. I miss playing with the ferrets.
the Demon Cat of Washington, D.C., or as is most commonly known, D.C. itself. If anyone knows any more information about this particular ghost/spirit, it'd be great to hear. If anyone has visited Washington, D.C. and seen or come close to seeing whatever this thing is, that would also be great to hear. Alas, I've been to Washington, D.C. twice. Once when I was much younger, and then more recently, I think about 2 or 3 years back or so. Had I known about this, I would have definitely taken a look the last time I was at the Capitol. But again, it's that crazy thing where to
Wait a second. Urban legend, praying mantis, the $1,000 bug, a buggy burrito. We'll have to watch that sometime and see what that's all about. I'm interested in what you got going on there with the praying mantises under your urban legend section, my friend. But that'll be a future event, a future affair. So we'll have to remember to circle back to this. I don't think it doesn't sound like it doesn't really be long enough for a whole Cryptic Corner episode. But if we do whole bug urban legend Cryptic Corner episode, would you guys be down for that? We can talk about the spiders laying eggs in the swollen spot on your face, and we can talk about maybe the ones that get into your bananas and stuff like that. We can talk about that and do a kind of urban legend versus reality breakdown. I'm here for it. I already have something else scheduled for next week, but I can put that in the schedule to do that, and we'll do this video as well if you guys are here for it. If you're not, you know what, I'm actually going to put it to a poll, because I can shuffle things about, but I had like Halloween stuff all set up. Yeah, well, let's do a poll. I haven't done a poll in a while, and I should do more polls. I think I should, don't you guys? Let's see. So we'll do, should I cover, or bug urban legends, or all right, yeah, we'll do it that way. So there's the choices for next week. Not to say that I won't do the bug urban legends sometime later, but I had Halloween stuff scheduled for like the next 3 weeks. So I'd probably put it off until like November 4th if I wait. But so far it looks like everybody wants to continue with the... But we'll see. I'm going to actually... we'll see what happens. I love doing polls with you guys. So... regardless, we'll get around to all of them, but I do want to talk about the stuff that you guys are interested in hearing. Anyway, so that was for today's episode. Oh, I'm all blurry. Hold on. How did that happen? I think I bumped my elbow on the desk and it makes it blur out. So, how's that? Ooh, much better. Hey, beautiful. I am looking good today. Got the Elvira stuff going on with the eye makeup. The other day I tried to do Amy Lee from what's the Wake Me Up Inside video, but it looked smudgy, so I took it off. I was just playing with my makeup, but it's a good look. It's a fun look to do, especially this time of year, to do some gothier stuff. I know I'm a 40-year-old woman and should probably grow up and stop, but I didn't get to be a freaking gothy girl teenager, and I was inside and couldn't express it because of my location and social expression. I wouldn't have been able to. At least I was too meek to push the envelope. Anyhow, so... I'm going to leave it there. That was that wraps up our Halloween cat trilogy. Depending on how things unfold with this poll, we'll see you guys next. Actually, you know what? This poll is not for next week, but the week after, because I already got the Cryptic Corner stuff already for next week, so it can't be next week. 40-year-old girls can have fun. You go, girl. That's my girl Maya. She's one of my besties right there. Oh, girls, you stop making me blush. All right, so we'll call that good for today's Cryptic Corner. I hope you've enjoyed this feline trilogy. I'll try maybe put it together in a little playlist or something. But please do remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, wrapping up the show. I got 25 of you watching, only 10 votes, so I don't know what direction to go. Can I get some more votes, peeps? Come on, get the votes, and then we'll move into. Here's what we'll do. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and play the first intermission, and then we'll come back and tally the votes. All right. So here's the first intermission song. It's the Dogman song for the holidays. So I'm gonna pop over to give you guys that, and then we'll come back into the Cryptic solo screen here, and we'll tally up the votes.
So the officer and I went out there to take a look at it. You know, he just tried to chew in around the doors. And you could see a dog print, you know, alongside the window there. And so it was, you know, obviously a dog.
Summer morning in early June is when the legend began. At a nameless logging camp in Wexford County where the Manistee River ran. 11 lumberjacks near the Garland Swamp found an animal they thought was a dog. In a playful mood, they chased it around till it ran inside a hollow log. A logger named Johnson grabbed him a stick and poked around inside. Then the thing let out an unearthly scream and came out and stood upright. None of those men ever said very much about whatever happened then. They just packed up their belongings and left that night, were never heard from again. It was 10 years later in '97 when a farmer near Buckley was found. Slumped over his plow, his heart had stopped. There were dog tracks all around. 7 years past the turn of the century, they say a crazy old widow had a dream of dogs that circled her house at night. They walked like men and screamed. In 1917, a sheriff who was out walking found a driverless wagon and tracks in the dust like wolves had been stalking. Near the roadside, a 4-horse team lay dead with their eyes open wide. When the vet finished up his examination, he said it looked like they died of fright. In '37, a schooner captain said several crew members had reported a pack of wild dogs roaming Bowers Harbor. His story was never recorded. 1957, a man of the cloth found claw marks on an old church door. The newspaper said they'd been made by a dog. He'd have had to stood 7'4". In 67, a van load of hippies told a park ranger named Quinlan they'd been awakened in the night by a scratch at the window. There was a dog man looking in and grinning. In 77, there were screams in the night near the village of Bel Air. Could have been a bobcat, could have been the wind. Nobody looked up there. Then in the summer of 87, near Luther, it happened again. At a cabin in the woods, it looked like maybe someone had tried to break in. There were cuts around the doors that could only been made by very sharp teeth and claws. He didn't wear shoes because he didn't have feet. He walked on just 2 paws. So far this year, no stories have appeared. Have the dogmen gone away? Have they disappeared? Soon enough, I guess we'll know, because this is the time to fear. For another 10 years has come around. The 7th year is here. And somewhere in the Northwoods darkness, a creature walks upright. And the best advice you may ever get is don't go out at night.
All right, kids, looks like we're going to continue the Halloween countdown for the show, which is freaking awesome. I'm here for it. So that's the tally of the votes, pretty much overwhelmingly in favor of doing that. I hope you enjoyed that little musical interlude. It's old from a long time ago. I know it's cheesy, but it's just cheesy good Halloween. It used to always be on our Halloween playlist and stuff. Really has a spooky kind of feel to it, in my opinion. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna see you guys over in Creation Watch. So yeah, I'll see you all over there.
You know, I have a queer kid.
You have a kid?
Gender fluid.
And you're cool with it?
I'm not a monster, Jake.
All right, my beauties and bees. Hello. Welcome and good evening, each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me tonight as we dive into some more Halloween madness as fundamentalists freak out over I would say even bastardized version of ancient holidays, or a collection of ancient holidays, which is what most of our modern holidays are. Aren't any of them directly sourced to one people group, because as people intermingled, they lined up their holidays together, or already had holidays that lined up, because a lot of holidays are based around like seasonal changes and equinoxes and things of that nature. So take from it what you will. But for some reason, the one that happens at the end of the autumn season, or into the harvest season, that where a lot of cultures associate it with death, decay, with preparing to buckle down, with a last hurrah, a last revelry before the cold snap drives everybody inside, and the last time for people to intermingle when when weather was fair. So it was an important time of year, but there was a lot of iconography that became associated with negative spirits, and the idea of celebrating death to certain cultures is kind of unheard of. But I digress. Modern fundamentalists don't like Halloween. For whatever reason, we're going to lay it out here that they think that any other religions are just instantly the devils. So let's have a look. This is One Islam Productions. They have 2 million subscribers. This was from last Halloween season, last October, 11 months ago, as you see there. And let's see, that's kind of off balance though. 2 million subscribers, but only 663 comments. Maybe they police their comments pretty heavily though. I bet they do if they're really fundamentalist. I should end this poll. There we go. I forgot to end that from the previous show, but the show must go on, right? Let's see here. So, One Islam Productions is going to tell us the scary truth of Halloween. This is a must-watch. And first, I want to admire the standard televangelist layout here. Trying to sell their network. Creation of man, how it all began. Somebody wants to get a One Islam TV subscription, and then we'll watch some other stuff. Shaitan does not want you to see this. Yeah, you gotta watch out for Shaitan. All right, here we go. See, right away, they're not afraid to use the imagery that they're going to complain about. It's kind of ironic. Right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. I've always pronounced it Celtic. I think that's the only time I think it's pronounced Celtic is when it's the basketball team, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Samhain. At least the Christian fundamentalist channel we watched the week before. Pork soda, are you talking about Primus? Yeah, I used to play bass like that when I was a goofy kid. But, see, do Muslims have something against music? This one apparently doesn't because this video has music all through it. Do Muslims drink pork soda? I doubt it. Too quiet. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Let me turn him all the way up. Okay. We'll go back.
Now, going to the fall season, the Celtic people of the North used to believe that during the fall season their year began. And actually for the Celtics, their New Year's was November 1st. October 31st was the final day of the year for the Celtic people of the North. And that day was...
Yeah, he says Celtic.
Called the Day of Samhain. And this individual, wal-iyadhu billah, was supposed to be their god of the spirits of the dead.
But it's pronounced Samhain, not Samhain. Although, you know, Samhain is the name of the character, or Sam is the name of the character from the Trick or Treat series, which kind of, but Samhain is how this is pronounced. I think, and I believe that he's saying Celtics here, but I think Celtic is the proper terminology when you're talking about the culture and society. But correct me if I'm wrong. If somebody else has insight on this, you know, he's saying it right and you're saying it wrong, correct me. But I know I'm right about Samhain, so is it wrong of me to assume that I'm right about Celtic people? Yeah, I don't know. My ancestors were Celtic apparently, so. That's the thing.
Evil again. And according to their belief, the evil spirits would rise to the surface and would terrorize people on that evening. And on that evening, if you did something wrong to a person, they'd come back to get you on that night. So some people would put on a disguise. So you couldn't recognize them on October 31st on that evening. And then they would be safe. Also, they would burn fires. Now the only thing we find left of...
So here's the thing about the society that these legends come from. What they would do, or their lore was that at the end of the year was when the Lord of the Dead would send his guy to come. Ankou was his name, Ankou. He's the Celtic collector of the dead. He's where we get the image of the guy with the Grim Reaper image with the big hooked staff and everything, and he would come at the end of the year on Samhain. He would come and collect all the people who had died that year. Until then, they were stuck. They were in their earthly domain, right? He would come and collect them and take them to the afterlife. Now, there's a lot of lore tied into this, which they're going to get into here. But one of the things that he did just mention, though, is the dressing up in costumes. You had to do that when you were going out if you were going to you could participate in, because people would leave blessings out for the spirits that were waiting for the bus. You know, waiting for the guy to come get them. Their loved ones would leave stuff out for them, and you could dress up in a costume and go, "Oh, I'm a spirit. I'm here to get treats." And children would do it as a trick-or-treating kind of thing. That's where that practice comes from. But they're going to try to demonize it here, of course, and demonize some of the other practices as well.
That is the jack-o'-lantern that they would put inside of their window made from the pumpkin.
Okay, you didn't even 2 sentences in. They didn't use pumpkins until the tradition came to the U.S. because they didn't have pumpkins. Pumpkins are a New World crop, so they didn't have pumpkins to carve. They carved turnips, big giant turnips. Actually, let me pull up a picture of a turnip jack-o'-lantern for you guys to see. They are wicked looking. There we go. Yeah. Kind of makes you sad that they stopped doing this tradition, actually, when you see what I'm going to pull up here. It's going to hopefully make you a little bit uncomfortable. Oh, not that one. Here we go. That. Yeah. There's our carved turnip. What do you guys think? Is that spookier than a pumpkin? That is what they... So I got my musicians practicing in the other room. They were doing some good stuff there, but yeah, this is what they... Yeah, Celtic. That's what I thought, Rig. Thank you. So, well, actually, John's disagreeing. John's saying Celtic. Ringasayan Celtic, which I've seen it with the K. When I look at old history, like not old history books, but I look at like history books and stuff. But I don't know how we're supposed to pronounce it in modern anglicized English, so that might be different. But these are creepy cool, and I wish we still carved them, but they're probably really small. It doesn't give you a scale, but turnips don't get very big. They're probably about the size of a hand fruit, right? Like an apple or orange. Anyway,
Actually happened in Europe is that the church moved All Saints Day, a day for the saints. They moved it from May 13th to November 1st in 1834 AD. And so what they said was that the 31st night is All Hallows Evening. All Hallows Evening, which in America later became known as Halloween. Halloween. And they depict the forces of evil.
Well, that's, I don't know, a misnomer, I think. It's because your culture only has this dark and light view of the universe, right? That everything is either evil or good. Doesn't mean that all cultures and societies were like that. I'm going to use Celtic because that's what I've always used. The pumpkin's creepier than the turnip. I think so too. But you can carve some creepy faces into the pumpkins. Don't get me wrong. But what was I saying? Oh, the Celtic society had a dark beauty view of death, and their deities of death and their images of death were beautiful recreations and celebrations that were depicted in their art as skeletal stuff and crows and different dark characteristics, right? So the moonlight and the balefires and the jack-o'-lantern and all this imagery, it may be dark, but it doesn't necessarily have to be evil. It shouldn't necessarily have to be depicted as evil or perceived as evil either.
What is happening now is that the children put on disguises. They dress as little devils, little witches, as goblins, vampires, anything evil, and they go out and...
They don't, though, but I think that maybe they do. There's a percentage, maybe like 30% of Halloween costumes or something scary anymore, but most people are dressing as... Goodness gracious, that's loud, Ian. Most of them are dressing as like superheroes or cartoon characters, things like that. Not a lot of people are out here on Halloween dressed up like vampires and demons anymore. There are a percentage of people that do. Traditionalists. I do like traditional Halloween costumes, as you can see by my witchy look today. But I don't think that they generally are trying to dress as things that are evil, at least not in modern times. I don't think they ever were, really.
And now with the new American way, they do trick-or-treat. And they come to your house asking for food. Do they do that here in Miami? Trick-or-treat. They knock on your door in their disguise. And some Muslims, thinking they want to be Americans, or they want to be Canadians, so they send their little children, and they're in little disguises. So what are you going to dress them as? A little angel? What are you going to be? How are you going to dress and go out there?
Oh, Bumblebee. One of my daughter was a Bumblebee one time. My boys were both dressed. They were little. They dressed as a biker one time that Ian did. That was super cute. A pirate. They've ninjas and then superheroes. Bumblebees, princesses, witches. All kinds of cute stuff like that. So, yeah. You got a problem with it, mister? Yeah, you can dress your kid up and take him out to get candy. It's not going to hurt him.
And so the reality that we recognize is that, number one, this is the day...
Unless they're diabetic.
...of Samhain. And the Quran tells...
Samhain.
...us, Inna shaytana lil insani aduwwun mubin. That the devil is an open enemy to humanity. There is no compromise with the devil. And so we don't play around and disguise ourselves as little devils, little shayateen. We do not disguise.
You don't dress up in costumes if you're Muslim. It's bad. Hey, Beck, welcome to the show. We're learning about why a good Muslim does not practice Halloween. Because you dress up as little devils and disguise yourself is the main protest so far. So keep up, everybody. I hope you all got your notepads out.
Disguise ourselves as this, because it is an open enemy to the people of monotheism. Also, there are a number of other aspects. What is happening now, as you may know in America, is that there is a new church coming about, which is called the Church of Satan. Wal iyadu billah. And in the 60s in San Francisco, the church was initiated. And right now in the American army, if you are Jewish and you die, they bring you a rabbi. If you're a Muslim, they'll bring you an imam. If you're a Christian, they'll bring you a priest or a minister. If you're registered as part of the Church of Satan, they bring you a priest from the Church of Satan. And
I see no problem with that. Do you? Do you?
Performing these rites and rituals, calling on the devil to accept his initiate. And so this is growing in this society. And they actually did a couple movies. They did this Rosemary's Baby. All right? They also, The Exorcist. And a number of movies they did to frighten people with evil. That you will be so afraid of evil. And they show the priests as bumbling idiots. Falling down over their feet. Can't do anything. Running away from the devil. And the devil is a business.
Wait, in The Exorcist, the priest won. He defeated the devil, or defeated the demon. He sacrificed himself, but he got it. Got it out of Reagan, and then jumped out the window to kill it, or to like kill the body it was possessing. Yeah.
Businessman in his suits, and he has the power of lightning and everything. So even though the devil dies in the end, you end up being more afraid of the devil.
Wait a second. So he's talking about, where's the devil have the power of lightning? Is that the Omen he's talking about, maybe?
Than anything else. That's part of the plot, to brainwash people to be afraid of the shaitan.
Shaitan.
The reality is that the Prophet ﷺ said that the upper hand
shaitan
is better than the lower hand. Al-yad al-ulya khayrun min al-yad al-sufla. That the upper hand is better than the lower hand. What that means is you should be the one who gives and don't beg. That we should not be begging.
No, trick-or-treating is not begging, it's sharing. It's a community thing where you share sweets with people in celebration of the end of... It used to be, and I remember when I was a kid, it used to be that that there were also cookies and cupcakes and stuff involved with trick-or-treating that they went away when allergies peaked up, and when then people started getting afraid of poison and stuff too. But like when we just go around our neighborhood and people would have the kids come in and look at their like costume or whatever, and they give them cookies or cupcakes and fruit. You get fruit too. You get bananas and apples and oranges and stuff. This was like in the early 80s when I was really little. As I got older though, it just became just candy, and you weren't allowed to give out anything that wasn't prepackaged. People wouldn't accept it, so kind of turned the table.
And so to send a Muslim child out to trick or treat is a demeaning, lowering thing. You ask them to beg people for food. Then they're dressed up as a way that they're not. Then when the candies and things come in the bag, how do you know what it is they actually gave you? Is it halal? Most of the candies today are made with gelatin, with glycerin. They're made with pork products.
That's probably true. I'd say that's probably true, my dude. So yeah, if you want to just have your Muslim community celebrate Halloween, probably have some halal-friendly treats to give out. Why? I don't see the problem with that. And if a lot of Muslims are out trick-or-treating and there's a Muslim population, maybe the people giving out candy could even be like, hey, when you say trick-or-treat, they say halal or non-halal, and they'll be like halal, and you give them the they give them the halal stuff. Sounds like a win to me. I don't know what the problem is.
One person in our area, in the Boston area where I grew up, one person in our area, in our project, he used to sit back and he used to give everybody X-Lax. You know X-Lax? He'd give you chocolate and he puts X-Lax in the thing. And then he goes around and waits the next day to see everybody.
So your friend poisoned you. That's not a prank. He just poisoned you. So yeah, I would press charges if someone did that to me. Someone said, here, want some chocolate, and gave me chocolate, and it was the chocolate laxative. I would sue them, and I would win, because they just poisoned me. So the stuff, and I was watching Roseanne on the Quartering a couple of weeks back, and she was stirring the same nonsense about Halloween, right? That there's all these reports of people poisoning children's candy and people putting razor blades in the apples and stuff like that. There's no truth to it. The only people who have done such a thing are parents doing it to their own kid and trying to play it off like a stranger did it, which they didn't, because the parent did it and were busted. One guy's the neighbor kid got sick from it too, because his own kid that he was trying to poison shared candy with them. That's the only time this has ever happened. And it was self-inflicted. So, yeah. But yeah, people like Roseanne out there, she's like, oh, she did her Halloween episodes, and they were wonderful. That Roseanne Halloween episodes were an important part of my childhood growing up. I loved those episodes. I loved the Home Improvement episodes for Halloween too. So I don't see what the problem is with trick-or-treating, though. Not really, as long as you follow some basic logic.
So they can do anything to you, man. You have no control over the situation. You have no control. And what is also happening is that there are some evil, wicked-minded people who are attacking children on that night. I don't know about Miami, but in Canada now, they openly say on the television, do not send your children trick-or-treating by themselves.
Right, because that's a reasonable expectation that kids won't go out by themselves. Children shouldn't be out trick-or-treating by themselves, at least not if they're under the age of like 13 or so. I honestly wouldn't send a kid who's not, at least has a license and a device to contact you out anyway, regardless. So man, that's really loud, dude. Come on. He's really jamming in there, I swear. But I don't know how loud that is on your guys' end. But anyway, the idea of looking both ways before you're crossing the street, carrying a glow stick, doing all these other steps to make sure you're extra safe that evening. There's no There's no shame in that. It's not shameful.
Do not go in darkened streets. Move as a group. Don't
Reasonable.
go to a house that you don't know the people on the inside.
Reasonable stuff.
And there are literally groups of Satanists who are capturing children, and they're performing a rite, sacrificing the child.
Oh, are there now? Really? Where? When? How often is this happening? Satanist? Man, I swear to God, the Manson family. The Manson family ruined frickin' Halloween. I swear to God. Not that they acted on Halloween or anything, but it gave the idea that there's these nefarious satanic cults out there ready to just like murder people. And it's really not as common of a thing. And they're definitely not, I don't know. There's the idea that people are doing satanic sacrificing on children on Halloween lacks evidence, lacks credulity. Give me some evidence, please.
On that evening of Samhain, supposedly to get more spiritual power. It's happening right now. And so from so many angles, Muslims should have nothing to do with Halloween. And if your children are in school, go to the teacher. Go to the teacher and make it clear to the teacher we do not involve our children in these ceremonies. Even the Jehovah's Witnesses will go to the teacher and tell them, take my child out of Halloween.
So appealing to the Jehovah's Witness is not the slam dunk you think it is, my friend.
They don't even believe in that. Take my child even out of your Christmas. They're not involved in that. What can happen during these occasions, if you want them to draw pictures of pumpkins or, fall plants, okay. But we don't want to be involved in these confused rituals that are giving signals from many different angles. And so, in conclusion, we recognize the fact that the present system of rituals and holidays in this country and in the Western countries is a confused hodgepodge of cultural rituals. And it is important for Muslims to have basira, that they should have the insight to look through affairs and do not just blindly follow the ways of the Christians and the Jews. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, you will follow them.
So, like, Halloween's not Christian or Jewish or any other religion. It's kind of a secular holiday, which everybody can participate in. Let's see. As a parent, it wouldn't have occurred to me to send my kids alone. I actually love them. Yeah. Dressed as a Republican, says John Hudson. Jur says children shouldn't be out at night alone, no matter what night it is. Absolutely. And up until a certain age, there's no reason for the kids to be out roaming around town at night. It's actually quite nice background music at worst. Yeah. They got a show here in an hour and a half, so they're just like warming up and stuff. I don't want to be a bitch about it. Carry on, rotten eggs. Yeah, it's a pretty decent backing track. You're saying I'm too nice, says Dr. Tap. Tsunami says the guy that poisoned the kids' pixie sticks is also to blame. Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about a minute ago. What a douchebag, ruined it for everybody. And now we're back to the fundagelical scaremongering. Yep, fundamentalists hate Halloween. It's part of their brand. I have plenty of TP for trees. Yeah. Well, you're going to get yourself in trouble. I think you're an adult, Dr. Mordecai, so you're looking at like vandalism prosecution. Sounds like this Muslim read too many chick tracks. Yes, and my girl, Miss Lemon, does chick track readings, and she's got a Halloween one, I think. Either just came out or is coming out later today. So check that out, too. Let's see here. Where was I? Children are only sacrificed on solstices. It is known, yeah. Oh, you get more power on Halloween, right? Want to scare kids at Halloween? Dress up as a youth pastor or a priest. Look for unlocked doors. Let's see. Where am I? Scout leaders, yeah. Not to just blindly follow, but that's what religious people do best. Exactly, Tsunami. And there's the cultural supremacy. Stay on the dark streets. I stay on the dark streets, but that's because that's where I find my how I do. And I affect them with transgenderism. Let's see. The confused angle that this person's circular logic that shows his head is stuck in his dark place. Yeah, good. You've got to be in the dark place for Halloween, though, so it's at least it's thematic. Stay away from the graveyard, or go to the graveyard, depending on if you're trying to communicate with the dead. I went out for Halloween, and now I don't believe in any of the stuff he's scared of and the stuff he should be. Arm your children before sending them out trick-or-treating. That's not a bad idea. Just make sure they have trigger discipline. All right, let's continue on. I'm caught up with the chat. I'm trying to be more engaging with you guys today, so I hope you've noticed. I do want to interact better. So as we go through these, it makes it more fun, I think.
You will follow the people who came before you inch by inch, foot by foot. Even if they crawl into the hole of a lizard, you crawl inside there with them. And then they said, who are these people? Are they the Christians and the Jews? And the participant said, who else? And so it has come to pass. And you can't Islamicize these occasions. You can't use Arabic names and Islamic symbols to make it halal. We have to take a stand.
Does it have to be, though? I mean, can you celebrate a secular holiday? Do you celebrate national holidays, like the founding of your nation and things like that? It's a harvest holiday, like you just said a minute ago, pumpkins and fall leaves and that kind of stuff, but also spooky, what you'd call, I guess, witchcraft and such.
Secondly, it is important for Muslims to cherish their own holidays. When the Eid al-Fitr comes, take the day off. There are some Muslims who go to work on Eid. They go to Eid prayer and they go to work. So what happens to your children? They don't have a chance to relax and enjoy themselves. Organize an activity. Bring their families together. Eat together. Do things together. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. Make it a happy occasion for them.
But it's got to be halal. They can't participate in anything else. Can't read anything that's not halal. I don't know. So it seems very restrictive. But you're on the internet, so.
They will remember their Eids. Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha. If they don't, then they get involved in Christmas, in Easter,
I do like Christmas and Easter. I do. I'm not even a Christian or anything like that. I'm an atheist. Or actually, this guy we interviewed on Skeptic Haven last week has got me interested in atheo-paganism. Kind of goes hand in hand with my Lovelockian Gaianism when I get to do witchy stuff. So maybe, but I'm gonna do Christmas. I'm gonna do Easter if I want to. Actually, I don't do Easter. I think Easter's kind of blah. They're doing the song, the Flyleaf song. All right.
Halloween, where even in the Christian tradition now, it is confusing. And many of the Christians now,
what was that?
Even in the Christian, then they get involved in Christmas, in Easter, in Halloween, where even in the Christian tradition now, it is confusing. And many of the Christians now, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witnesses, and many people are taking a stand. And they're saying we do not want to follow the pagan religion. So what about those who have been blessed with monotheism? And so I want to leave you with these words.
But that's just because the name that they picked in Western culture to label it with was Halloween, which was the Celtic name. This was not an exclusive holiday to the Celtic people, though. All over Europe, Northern Asia, all over the Northern Hemisphere, this was a thing. It was a I don't want to say it was something they celebrated, but it was definitely something they recognized and acknowledged, right? It was something that they engaged with, was that this natural cycle was taking place on an annual basis, and this was kind of around the cutoff point, was within this, maybe depending on what your latitude was, I guess. Sometimes some areas that probably lasted longer than others. But there was always the celebration of this time of year, right? And there was always sort of a overhanging of death around it, because it was a season when things were dying back. So it's not exclusive to any culture to recognize this, or these commonalities that we had across the Northern Hemisphere as a species, and to deny our natural right to I would almost say our ecological right to prepare for for the coming winter, as all animals do, in whatever manner that we traditionally see fit, with no cultural ties at all. I think taking that away from people is wrong.
And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would help the younger generation to be able to take a stand, especially for the Muslims to take a stand, and for those non-Muslims to try to understand what Islam really is. To try to understand that our society, what we are living in our society, our moral standards are being lowered to the point where
where you can coexist with other cultures. That's not a bad thing, though, homie. You need to be able to coexist with other cultures. I know you get this ethnocentrist, or is it? I guess it wouldn't be ethnocentrist, because not everybody is of the same ethnicity. But it's the idea that you're gonna if given power, you would oppress us. Right? We've seen that. We've seen what Islamic theocracies look like, and how things proceed. We've seen the full body coverings for women.
People of conscience do not take a stand, then we will be living in a state of confusion. In Canada, common law marriages are practiced more than regular marriages. In Quebec, in the French province of...
This is the land we live in, and these are the birds we're given. Yeah, anyway. Land of confusion.
Of Canada, it has the second highest rate of common law marriages on earth is in Quebec. And they say these marriages only last at the most 5 years. So if the families are broken apart, if children are being molested, if women have no sanctuary or protection in the society, even in the White House, if nowhere is safe, then the essence of the society itself is become rotten. And this will influence the economic situation, the political situation, all aspects of life. So I leave you with the thought that people of conscience...
So, to clarify here, people of conscience, you mean the what do you say, Islamic State, I guess, is who you want to appeal to as a place to protect children, which, as far as I know, the rates of child abuse is just poverty and things like that is higher in Muslim nations. The disparity between the rich and the poor is the highest. And the poor obviously have a higher rate of crime and domestic crime, things like that, because of what poverty does to a society, right? So that doesn't surprise me one bit. All right, let's see here. What have I missed? You guys talking about out here? Christmas is pretty. Most cultures have some sort of holiday around lights and candles and stuff. Sure. There's I know the pagan holidays. There was a candle mass, is one. It's in February though, I think. The season is the reason for celebration. Absolutely, just celebrate it, because why not celebrate? We only get one go around. Funny how people and cultures from the northern hemisphere have midwinter dopamine boost celebrations, right? Like when depression levels are high, they have something to look forward to, right? But not if it's not halal. If it's not halal, you can't have it. Sit in your depressing little lodge and deal with it. This video makes me think that Islam is just fundagelical Christianity with a different language and dietary restrictions. Says Ring. Al says, in 1985, I made my own Optimus Prime costume out of boxes and paint. That's freaking epic, dude. I made my own cardboard costume of just from the waist down, but I had like a little tiny body costume, but did a casket with my legs sticking out of the bottom of it with a cardboard box cut like a Dracula casket. It was pretty cute.
Should take time, study history, go back to the source of the religions, and you'll find that all of the religions are based in Tawheed, in the oneness of God. It will take you right back to the source. And when you think about a Muslim now, realize it's not somebody who's thinking about blowing up the Empire State Building. That's stereotyping. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. Islam is based on peace, submission to the Creator. When we meet each other, we say, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. And we pray for peace for all people.
Fun fact, the more covered up a culture wants its women, the higher their rate of sexual assault. That does not surprise me. There's the call for theocracy. Red flags are not fun facts. Yeah, I think she's being sarcastic when she called it a fun fact. I did the string music. Yeah, that's my son practicing with his band. That's right, Aunt John Hudson. You're right. I shouldn't have used sarcasm in that. Oh, yep. She said it was sarcasm. Essay. It's a specific type of assault that I'm sure you can figure out. Yeah. Anyway, that was, well, what's the rest of this video? If that's because it says there's a few more minutes left.
Are you tired of all these annoying ads on YouTube? Are you worried that a haram video might pop up? Well, the One Islam TV app is here to solve these problems, inshallah. The One Islam TV app is 100% free of any ads and is safe to browse for your peace of mind. Watch or listen to lectures.
Yeah, so you don't accidentally see something you shouldn't see, right?
And lessons while you work, rest, or drive with your device switched off. Watch videos on demand or download videos and watch offline. Watch hundreds of high-quality produced Islamic reminders, Quran learning videos, stories of the prophets, and so much more. 2 to 4 new videos uploaded daily, inshallah.
Are you afraid you might be exposed to outside cultures and influences? Well, this is the app for you.
Islam TV is 100% run and owned.
Yeah, doctor, you got to go all the way. Go all the way, like all the way. Yeah. Anyway.
owned by Muslims, which means a small amount you pay for your subscription is a sadaqah jariyah, continuous charity for you, as we use the funds raised to continue producing more.
Or you could tithe the Church of the Hive, right? You could give some tithing there to help with my electrolysis funding, because I'm trying to get that taken care of. So, yeah, I have less dysphoria. I have that fundraiser still going. I think I'm have it going until I guess December 5th or something like that is when I got it set up to shut down. So you can still donate to that. Maya, do you have the link to that you can drop? I don't know, one of my friends can drop it for me.
More beneficial videos and reminders, inshallah. The One Islam TV app is now available on Apple devices, Apple TV, Android devices.
Ooh, I wonder if they're going to come after me for this, because this is a kind of a big network, but they're using pretty stock images and stuff. And the recording just sounded like an audio track from a presentation. Let's look at more of their stuff, though. Let's look and see what else this channel
when we
has
think of
there.
the
What most of their videos and things are about. Let's see. The Sons of Adam. Noah's Ark, found in Turkey. Of course, just 9 hours ago that was released. Noah's Ark, there's gotta be some Noah's Ark. I don't know what this is because it's in Arabic script. Let's see, the Signs of the End Time series. Final Days of the Prophet Muhammad. Islam and Aliens. That sounds worth covering. I'm gonna have to, I think my homie Dennis Hovind is going to have to subscribe to this channel, because there's good stuff here. Deadliest weapon. Let's see. They don't teach you this in school. The early enemies of Islam. Exact location where Jesus will return. Ooh, Jesus. Got more Adam and Eve stuff. Story of Gog and Magog. That's the end time. When the battle of good and evil and all that, that's the enemy. Gog and Magog. Yeah. All right. So, ooh, some Jinn stuff. 2 hours on Jinn? Man, that's a long time to sit through. You got a shorter video on Jinn? I'd be down for that. All right. So, yeah, the good stuff. There's good stuff here. I think stuff we can... Most Muslims don't know these rights of women in Islam. Well, maybe you should teach them that. Maybe that should be something that's off the board. They got their own Caleb and Sophia sort of cartoon thing. Gracious. There's a lot to unwrap here. Okay. Well, as we do, we're going to wrap up there with our creation watch. Interesting little journey we've went on, exploring the Islamic view of Halloween. What do you think? Tell me in the comments down below. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time. All right. Yeah, don't go anywhere. Live from the Hive audience, of course, as I put in the side chat there. There's more show to come. So thank you for hanging out, and let's move right along to our final topics for today. Well, I say final topics. I still have. What, 4 things up here. No, it's just the three segments left almost 3 segments. The last one's just going to be a micro segment, though. Anyway, yeah, I will see you guys over in HiveSci in just a moment. In the meantime, please enjoy this musical interlude. Hello, hello, and welcome to HiveSci. We're having a wonderful morning this morning. We had lots of Halloween-themed stuff. As you can see, I'm looking and feeling kind of witchy today. So, this is going to be a step in a different direction for my Live from the Hive audience, but we are going to be talking about one of my favorite things, which is, and it's been kind of coming up in the side chat here as well, which is hybridization. Not just any hybridization. We're talking about canine hybridization. So this is Brazil's enigmatic dogsum. First of its kind canine hybrid between fox and a dog, found in the streets of Vicaria. A stray dog in Brazil, dubbed as dogsum, has been identified as a probable hybrid between a South American pampas fox, or a zorro, and a domestic dog, first of its kind. As urban areas expand, interactions between domestic pets and wildlife can lead to such hybridizations. A phenomenon documented for the first time by researchers. Genetic tests reveal it as a dogsum. Scientists encountered a puzzling canine with a blend of dog-like traits and unique features, including pointed ears and a long snout. Experts said that from the very beginning, the animal looked and behaved strangely. Despite its barking and appearance akin to a dog, the animal refused dog food, opting for small rats. Found in 2021 following a road accident in Vacaria, Rio Grande do Sul. It received care at the Center for Conservation and Rehabilitation of Wild Animals. South America hosts 4 distinct canid species, none matching this canine's characteristics. Local bush dogs exhibit small ears, short legs, brown fur, while a Maine wolves are tall with reddish brown coats. And crab-eating and pampas foxes share some similarities but differ in fur color. With no known species fitting, Brazilian researchers proposed a crossbreed. None of the rescue dogs matched the mysterious stray, but genetic analysis confirmed the animal as a hybrid between a pampas fox and a domestic dog, an extremely rare cross-genus occurrence. Despite diverging around 6.7 million years ago, the species still produces viable hybrids. The rescued canine 76 chromosomes visibly resemble those of domestic dogs and pampas foxes, while it had 38 chromosome pairs, one short of a dog's 39. The genetic similarities may allow unusual DNA combinations to function effectively. The rescued animal possessed two X chromosomes with different morphologies, indicating dual species origins. Mitochondrial DNA analysis suggests a pampas fox mother and dog father, which makes sense because male dogs kind of have a humpy problem with they'll hump any other kind of species that they run into. While no evidence yet supports other hybrids in the region, researchers suspect this is not an isolated case. Dachshund's mysterious death is still under investigation. In 2019, biologist Herbert Hasse Jr. encountered 2 animals displaying an unusual phenotype in their natural habitat. One of these animals was probably the female hybrid tragically killed in the road accident in 2021, while the other animal mysteriously disappeared. Adding a cruel twist to the tale, the dog-fox hybrid, a groundbreaking discovery for science, met an undisclosed fate at a zoo after recuperating from its injuries. The death of this pioneering Brazilian dog-fox hybrid has triggered a government inquiry. Surprisingly, the São Brás Conservation Center, responsible for the hybrid's care since 2021 discovery, did not report the animal's demise. Even more perplexing is the absence of information regarding the timing and cause of the hybrid's death. As far as current knowledge goes, no autopsy was conducted to determine the cause of this unprecedented loss. The Brazilian government, through its Secretariat of Environment and Infrastructure, is actively investigating the circumstances surrounding the hybrid's demise. The animal, a product of the rare interbreeding between a wild Graxium and a domestic dog, held significant scientific value. Its discovery in 2021. SEMA in its ongoing investigation, emphasizes the lack of communication from the Conservation Center about the animal's death, raising further questions about this enigmatic case. All right, and then we got a short video here we're going to watch. Sure is cute. Oh my gosh, I want to boop. Can I boop? Oh, one more time. So adorable. Yeah, so that was our little Brazilian fox. Isn't he super cute? Now, to be clear, these are not the same kind of foxes like vulpes. They are a different group altogether. And let me see if I can pull up a cladogram so you guys can see how they kind of diverge here. Just a second. Let's see. We're in K90. You got a tree. Okay, yeah, we do. Okay, so I'm going to pull this on over for you guys. Okay, so this is Wikipedia's canine family tree. Okay, so you got Canine here, which is divided in two sections. You got the primitive Uroscions. These are the gray fox and the island fox. They're closely related to each other in the same genus, and they are the most primitive foxes. They still have semi-retractable claws that help them climb trees. The ancestor of all canines is thought to have closer resembled this more basal genus than any other group or any other clade. And then it divides Canine into two tribes, which are Canini and Vulpini. Now, Vulpini has all the foxes and stuff in it, right? And the very unique raccoon dogs as well. Bat ear foxes are weirdy too, but yeah, raccoon dogs are nested in Vulpini. They are real foxes. And then, you got all your common foxes down here. Now, up here on Canini, you have it divided into two groups. You got Canina, which is the familiar coyote, different species of wolves. Domestic dogs are on here. And the African wolf, which used to be called the golden jackal, or no, it's not the golden jackal. It used to be called the Ethiopian, there's the Ethiopian wolf too. This one used to have a different clade. It was some kind, they thought it was a jackal. I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but then yeah, doles, which are, Creation doesn't get very much love, but they live in huge packs in Asia, and they can run a tiger off its kill. They're pretty, they remind me of African wild dogs in their behavior, which is also on the list here. And then you got side-striped jackals and blackback jackals, which form this clade here. But in South America, another group diverged off here. The pseudoscienina, which includes our, as we mentioned, bush dogs and maned wolves, and the extinct but definitely enigmatic Falkland Island wolf, which we might cover at some point because that's an extinct species that gets cited sometimes. And then you have our unique pseudo foxes, which are not really close related to these foxes down here, but they filled the same niche in South America. And took on very similar forms, right? That's where our hybrid comes from this group right here, from the Pampas fox. Yeah, ooh, get it in. But yeah, hoary foxes, Peruvian desert foxes, Darwin foxes, Pampas foxes, South American gray foxes, which are not related to the primitive gray foxes we talked about down here anyway. You got our crab-eating foxes, which are kind of their own thing too. So, short-eared dogs are sort of, they look like bush dogs, but they're a bit different. They have longer muzzles and stuff. But bush dogs are up here. So you can kind of see the similarities between them. There's the bush dog. There's the short-eared dog. Yeah, anyway. So there's our dog phylogeny lesson for today. So it's always fun when I get to do something like that and teach you guys a little something. We are going to pop over now to another video. So just listen to them play real quick. Y'all want them to come in here and play that? They're doing this really great cover. Can't remember the name of the band, but let me go ask them if they want to come in here and play that for you guys. Here, I'll put Robbie's ad on real quick. All right, guys.
This will be when I fuck up too. Oh my god.
Oh, here we go. Jesse, move in a little bit. There you go. All right. It's kind of cutting off your guys' heads, so hold on. Hello. No,
that would be so hard to sing like that.
All right. Go ahead, do your thing.
She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I I'll put you on the map. I'll cure you of disease. Let's say we up and left this town and turned our future upside down. We'll make pretend that you and me lived ever after happily. She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I'll put you on the map. I'll cure you of disease. Oh, and since we know that dreams are dead and life turns plans up on their head, I will plan to be a bum, so I just might become someone. She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I'll put you on the map. I'll cure you of disease.
Alright, we should probably
Bye.
That was not the best we've done, I swear.
Yeah, no, that was awesome, guys. That was awesome.
Can I just get like a quick peek?
There's no peek. It's just gone now.
What?
It's recorded.
But
It's
how do
over.
I see it?
It's over here.
Can I
If
see
you want to see what it looks
I
like.
want to hear it too.
We're still live.
Wait, that was live?
Yeah. That was a live
Whoa,
performance.
what? What were the people's?
Yeah.
That was live!
They had like 20 people watching.
What did they say?
They said, get off the stage, boo. Now they're like, woo, effing cool, woo, let's do it. Let's start. They laughed about, you got to start in the crowd, sweet, woo, that was great. You got clapping going on. Yeah, more people are tuning in.
We really appreciate
Yeah.
it. We're called Lily of the Valley. We're on social media. You guys should like follow us and stuff, please. Thank you.
We do rock.
We do rock.
Yeah.
Not today though. Today we're acoustic.
Yeah, that was they're doing their acoustic set. They got a show later on. I'm gonna pop over to just the rainy day thing real quick, and I'll be right back.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never
whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink. He drinks a lager drink, he drinks a cider drink. He sings songs that remind him of the good times. Sings songs that remind him of the better times.
Oh, Johnny boy, Johnny boy, Johnny boy. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Like, what an exciting show. I had my first, like, live musical guest. It was amazing. I know that the lighting was bad there. If I do that again, I'm going to have to do something better and clean my room. You all saw my unmade bed and my, my cluttered nightstand. But thank you guys for sticking around for me. I still got 20 people watching. That's awesome. We just got a short video that we're going to do. And oh yeah, I did this. I hadn't heard that song before. It was a good one though. Yeah, that was something special. But anyway, welcome to some more sci-fails with HiveScience. We are going to be looking at 24 deadly animals you will be glad to know are extinct. Ready? Here we go.
By today's standards, it's always sad when you learn an animal no longer exists in the wild. Like we're losing something great in the environment because of it. Extinction is seen as a terrible end to any creature, and we should be working towards preserving that species as best we can. However, there sure were some that were glad went extinct long ago. From massive monsters to powerful predators, these are everything that haunts our dreams to this day.
You leave Platypelodon alone.
Some were long gone before humans, and some of them might have shared hunting spaces. Get comfortable, get ready, and make sure you subscribe to the Forever Green channel.
That was never a thing that existed. Nope, this is a mutated crocodile or mutated alligator from what was it? Rampage.
Because we've got a doozy of a video to show you today. 24 deadly animals you will be glad to know are extinct.
That's the Kraken from
Number 24, Smilodon.
Clash of the Titans.
Otherwise known as the saber-toothed cat, the Smilodon was an ambush.
There's the giant one from from 10,000 BC. Saber-toothed cats were huge, but they weren't this big. This is like in Andrew Sarkis territory on the size. No carnivorans. Well, maybe some of the bigger bears could have had this big compared to a human. Just think about it. He's in the foreground here, and this is a grown man. So, either it's implying that humans were much, much smaller in the past, or it's exaggerating the size of this feline a great deal.
Predator known for its robust build and exceptionally long canine teeth. It was built with a larger jaw than modern cats, and teeth adapted well by nature for its exact style of precision killing. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty glad we only have to deal with mountain lions and bobcats, unless you live...
That was not a mountain lion. That was a regular African lion. Mountain lions look much different. That is a bobcat, though, I believe. Its feet look small enough.
Somewhere a bit wilder. The saber-toothed cat may have briefly lived with humans, but likely died with humans, and the Ice Age finally putting the nail in the coffin. Number 23, Pentacopterus decorahensis. You probably don't want to imagine a giant scorpion, much less one that's 5 feet long.
Well, it was a Eurypterid, not an actual true scorpion, but playing off the the more Clash of the Titans stuff.
2015, scientists discovered the Pentacopterus decorahensis in all its glory and used to swim around modern-day Iowa nearly.
Iowa, you have a lot to answer for. But it's not a real scorpion, as you can see. It's a Eurypterid.
450 million years ago. Their successors would go on to be current-day ticks, spiders, and lobsters. But
false. Ticks and spiders are arachnids, so they're chelicerates like the Eurypterids were. But lobsters are in mandibulata. With insects and crustaceans, they're all in mandibulata, not in chelicerata. So two distinct lineages there. It's the difference. Like if people ask, what's the difference between a spider and an insect? You say, well, one's a mandibulata and one's a chelicerata. So spiders are chelicerates. They have a chelicerate mouth part, whereas insects are mandibulata. They have mandible mouth parts. So that's the difference. Mm-hmm.
Chances are they didn't last long after Iowa decided to be, well, Iowa instead of a seabed. All we have to this day are fossils and drawings.
Yes, ticks are arachnids. That's true. Mm-hmm. So are mites. Fleas are insects, though.
Though a replica was created for National Geographic's Strange Truth program. Sometimes seeing is believing, but it would be better to go ahead and unsee some things. Number 22, Hallucigenia forti. If you've ever wondered what it's like for a worm to have legs, then you're going to regret that thought pretty soon. This absolute nightmare fuel is like every worst possible thing wrapped into one, because they might not be legs. They're probably tentacles, and they may or may not have had mouths on them.
Pairs of really stiff spines running along.
So they think now that these were like polychaete, like similar to polychaete worms, where they have like bristles of seed on them. Now, modern worms, annelids, earthworms, like they just showed, actually, have seed on them too. They have, like if you can find the really big tropical earthworms, you can actually feel the bristle on them. Large earthworms from your yard, they'll have that bristle. You can feel it. Now, the hallucinogenia, though, I believe that it's currently placed with the velvet worms, which would be a sister clade to Arthropoda and not an annelid. But I could be wrong about that. That was the last placement that I was aware of.
One side of the organism and long, flexible appendages on its other side.
Looking like something horrific out of a Dali painting, this noodly little guy has got it going on if it is being the worst thing that ever existed. I know this isn't what a ringworm looks like, but it would be so much worse.
It's adorable. Ringworm is a fungus, too. It's not a... Anyway. But, yeah, it's adorable. He's got little squigglies. I got my stiffy little paws that look like kind of like kitty cat paws. And he's got his noodly arms for exploring the world, and his bristles for protecting him from predators. He's adorable, and his little bumbly head with two little compound eyes on top of it. You stop being mean to him. He's cute.
If it were, don't you think? Number 21, Gigantopithecus.
There's our boy Gigantopithecus.
You might have been able to spot Bigfoot in Asia. To what we know as modern apes and orangutans, these ancient ancestors were nearly 10 feet tall. Why are all old animals massive? They were probably vegetarian, but we can't be sure.
Because we killed off all the megafauna. Well, we didn't just do it by ourselves. We did it with in tandem with some significant climate change and other natural effects as well.
And vegetarian doesn't make an arm span of 12 feet any less terrifying. One big hug and you're snapped in half. Number
that
20,
was a fairly realistic. Hold on.
Probably vegetarian, but we can't be sure. And
that looks like a good replica. That replica looks fantastic. Because orangutans are fist walkers, which means hold on, let me put myself back up full screen. So chimpanzees are knuckle walkers. They walk on this part of their hand. Like that's what touches the ground. They walk on their knuckles. Orangutans are fist walkers. They walk on their fist. So that's what touches the ground. So that's the difference between the locomotion between two different ape groups, and they evolved independently. Both diverged from a common ancestor that was arboreal, that lived in the trees almost universally, like proconsul. Hope you guys know what I'm talking about when I say proconsul. I feel like sometimes I lose you guys in some of the minutia of the scientific stuff that I talk about here, but it's important when we get into these types of videos to understand the differences between these organisms, like the bright side video that we did with the T-Rex versus the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Looking at this organism here, you can see very clearly that this is not something that's going to be able to defend itself from a Tyrannosaur. At least not a Tyrannosaurus Rex. No, not even a Tarbosaur. We talked about even a Dilophosaurus, which is famous for having its allegedly weak jaw, but being in a weight class of this that I would say would be about the most even fight you could come up with.
Vegetarian doesn't make an arm span of 12 feet any less terrifying. One big hug and you're snapped in half. Number 20, Harpagornis morai. Also known as Haast's eagle. The
Haast eagle. That's not a Haast eagle, though. That's like a condor. Stop it. Stop it with this bad representation. There's plenty of beautiful paleo art. And you want to go with probably either some representative of Argentavis, maybe. I don't think that Haast eagle had a bald head. I don't think that's the current consensus. I could be wrong. Welcome to be wrong. Let me see what we have here. Did we kill the giant sloth? Probably. I mean, we probably did kill some of them. Humans like big animals in their area, especially giant sloths, which could have potentially been pretty hostile animals. And yeah, and like I said about the armadillos, their giant ancestors like the glypodonts were potentially a little more predatory than we thought. There were giant predatory armadillos too in the past. I don't think there were any giant predatory sloths though. There were marine sloths that lived in the water, in the oceans, in the Caribbean. But I digress.
Harpagornis morai probably only went extinct about 500 years ago at the hands of early Polynesia peoples in southern New Zealand. They developed what we now know as island gigantism due to a...
So I don't know if humans directly hunted or engaged with the Haast eagle, but would have killed it by association from hunting the moa.
Lack of competition, and were a clear descendant of the terrifying raptor. At the time, they were known best by locals for their ability to swoop down.
That is kind of true about the raptor thing, because modern birds are Maniraptorans, right? But keep in mind that a duck is too, and a flamingo, hummingbird. Hummingbird is descendant from the mighty raptors. Chicken, an emu is, you can kind of see it there. Penguins, did I say penguins already? Because penguins should deserve to get said twice, because you got different types of penguins that are all super weird. These are all modern raptors, right? Modern raptorans, Maniraptorans, so they're raptors, but not always filling that niche. Now, the cobra chicken, known as the Canadian goose, or Canada gooses, are the most raptor-like of modern birds, I think.
and pick up whole children once the Maori people had whittled down their food source. I'm sorry, but at that point, it's every person for themselves. Number 19, Adestus.
So, the idea of the Haast eagle snatching children is from folklore, I think. I don't think it's actually something from like paleontological evidence. I think it's like word of mouth from Maori people. Hey, Ryan.
We may not know this guy's exact form because of how old they are, but the Adestus, also known as a scissor-toothed shark or coal shark, was a type of animal not to shed teeth, instead just grow more of them. This new growth would push the older teeth and gums forward, creating a potentially terrifying spiral tooth display. One option is like this, a spiral saw of old jagged teeth, though some others speculate whether their mouth looked like a monstrous pair of pinking shears instead. Have you ever looked into prehistoric creatures? Which one would you not want to face off with? Do you think we're better off without these beasts? Let us.
I don't know if we're better off without them. I think that maybe we are we were able to thrive because of their extinction as a species. But that's a far cry from saying we're better off without them. What is this, like Prince of Persia or something? I don't recognize this giant saber-tooth with the mane. We know that saber-tooth cats, or we shouldn't say we know. We don't think saber-tooth cats had manes. As far as we know, Homotherium probably didn't have a mane. The cave lions didn't have manes either.
No, down below. Number 18, Fabarimus patterson. If you think city rats are enormous, you'd hate to come across these little ratzillas. It's all fun and games.
Wait a second. This says 24 deadliest animals you'll be glad to know are extinct. And now you're talking to me about our giant capybara friend.
Games until that rat is the size of a bull. They could grow as long as 10 feet with a 5-foot tail. They might have been herbivorous.
Stop calling it a rat. It was like a capybara. Everybody loves capybaras. Capybaras are not scary. Having a hippo-sized capybara is freaking fantastic. That would be the best thing to happen to ecology since ever. Since the KPG extinction, I guess. Would be for the giant capybara to come back and dominate the landscape. But these aren't rats though. They're cavimorphs. They're closely related to guinea pigs, maras, and capybaras.
But they had foot-long incisors, and I really don't like those odds. They were known to live in the ancient Orinoco River Delta about 8 million years ago, so they're probably...
Which is still inhabited by capybara and by caiman and manatees and anaconda, jaguar.
Probably not going to live in the ancient Orinoco River Delta about 8 million years ago, so they're probably not going to come back anytime soon. Hopefully. Number 17,
But they're so cute! Why wouldn't you want giant capybaras? Oh, hippobaras. I just want to squeeze one of their heads and scruffle its cheeks because you know it'd be chill. You could probably ride them. Maybe that's what who are the people in the Levites or Levites or Leamites or something like that, in the Mormon tradition that lived in South America. They're like, oh, they rode tapirs. Maybe they rode giant guinea pigs instead. You ever think about that? We're about to go into Titanoboa, so I'm going to have to grab a drink. Nothing fancy. Yeah, the Lamanites. Is that the ones who rode the tapirs? The name that they have for Native Americans.
Tanoboa. And you thought the Loch Ness Monster was terrible? If they weren't over 60 million years old, I might think these bad boys were the inspiration for those kinds of myths. That is, ignoring entirely that they were found in northeastern Colombia rather than Scotland. With a name like Titanoboa, you kind of already know what you're getting into.
And we've been over Titanoboa. I think my whole channel knows the stats on Titanoboa pretty good from the Megalodon versus Titanoboa segment that we did. But if not, I'm going to go ahead and drop that. Or did I already release that? Maybe I haven't released it yet. Which ones have I released? See, I edit my videos down, but some of them I haven't got to yet. So, but that's okay. We did have this. So let's see what sci fails we had was the really bad bug list, which was Feathered Fiend. And then we did Brightside, the T-Rex versus Gigantopithecus. And then we have, the other ones that aren't edited down yet, but yeah, they were fun.
It's a titanic snake, which could grow as long as 42 feet long and weigh as much as 2,500 pounds. You're not winning a fight with this bad boy no matter how good you are. They'd eat you whole as a midday snack if they even recognized you as food. Number 16.
It's always funny they show Titanoboa wrapping around Tyrannosaur or a do I still have those slides on Tyrannosaur, like a Megalodon? But when you really look at it, yeah, I do. Titanoboa, while huge, it's not wrapping around a T-Rex. There's no way. It just doesn't have the length to get a good grab. It could, if to a T-Rex, a Titanoboa would be like have a human having like a ball python around their neck. Maybe something a little bigger than a ball python, but you get the gist. A small python like Aaron Raw always wears around his neck. That's what it would be like for a T-Rex and a Titanoboa. So it wouldn't actually be a good fight. It wouldn't actually be. And I say this a lot, but snakes are just bad fighters. I mean, really, they're awesome animals and great ambush predators and excellent at pest control, and in the niches that they fill, they're top notch. But when it comes to combat with other predatory organisms and such, no, they're just. You want to see Hans Wormhat's take on all this? He doesn't believe in any of this stuff that we've covered so far.
Meganura. If you're in an area known for dragonflies, you'll know they're pretty big. But what if they were so big, you'd have to beat them off with a bat? They might have been harmless like their modern-day descendants, but that sure doesn't make it a whole lot better.
Yes, it does. Why would you want to beat them anyway? Hippoberas, yeah. You just made them terrifying by calling them. Yeah, well, they wouldn't. They'd be like friendly though. You know, like capybaras are, or guinea pigs are. There's no cavimorphs that I think are especially aggressive. Porcupines maybe are aggressive a bit, but for the most part, they're like chill.
Number 15, Dunkleosteus. If you didn't think fish needed armor, you certainly don't know much about prehistoric times. The Dunkleosteus not long had its armor, but...
It said Dunkleosteus there. Dunkleosteus. You said right the first time, though. Right? Dragonflies are so OP. They have the best flying abilities in the insect kingdom. Or the kingdom, but in the animal kingdom. They have the best eyesight in the animal kingdom. The best hunting statistics. They're amazing creatures. Yeah, I could sit here and simp for dragonflies all day. Or for griffinflies, we're probably very similar. Oh, let's see. Dragonflies have the best flight set moves. Yeah, they can move in all directions evenly. and see in all directions. The only bird remotely close are hummingbirds. Absolutely right. And hummingbirds aren't predators, but if they were, a dragonfly is only harmless because you're not bug-sized. Yeah, but a dragonfly would have to be probably have a wingspan of at least, 15 foot or so before they would start considering us something that, on the menu. And even then, they'd probably target only like children and stuff. Which, there's too many kids in the world anyway. Let the dragonflies need to eat. Let's see here. That would be terrifying if they wanted to give you a hug, though. I don't know how I would feel about that. Fun fact, I'm 1 day older than Titan Uranus. Yeah, I didn't know that, but sorry I missed your birthday. Happy birthday, though. I know I didn't miss your birthday. I think I said happy birthday to you. They have great vision, too, if I recall correctly. You do recall correctly. They have excellent vision. Some of the best vision. I can't think of anything with better vision. At least not better circumferential vision. Circumferential? What's the proper term there? Was this made before or after the Chunky Donkey paper? Are dragonflies at all social? Dragonflies come together in a kind of a swarming behavior to mate and breed and do their thing. So there's such thing as like a cloud of dragonflies, but I wouldn't still go as far as to call them social. Well, so let's look at. I think this is before. This is from a year ago. So this is when they're still probably going to go with the 33-foot dunk.
But had unique teeth and a beak-like mouth, explicitly made for biting through the same kind of armor. They might have been a sort of cannibalistic species. With that kind of information, though, we can't be sure. They had jaws so efficient they could hinge them open.
Well, if you call them cannibals, is kind of weird to say because placoderms were like a whole niche. Like all jawed animals were placoderms at this time. Anything with a jaw was a placoderm. Teeth hadn't really taken hold in the clade. So they have big like scissor jaws instead. Now our ancestors were placoderms. So one group of one clade of placoderms eating another shouldn't really be considered cannibalism. Is in the same vein that like one mammal eating another mammal is not cannibalism. When's Maya's birthday? It's not Maya's birthday today, is it? I'm going to sing if it is.
And snap them back shut in just a matter of milliseconds. Number 14, Anomalocaris.
Oh.
When you think of apex predators, do you think of killer whales, lions, or tigers? Do you think of something massive and powerful and in control of its environment? Well, the Anomalocaris may be the earliest example we have of this kind of behavior.
True.
And it's a shrimp. This hideous 6-foot-long creature.
Not a shrimp, but that's okay. It's a radiodon.
Creature had tentacles with teeth in them, and they were carnivores in their time. We're just lucky shrimp don't look like this anymore because I'm not sure a beach trip would be the same knowing what's down there. Number 13, Titanochorus games. At a massive 1/2 meter length, the discovery...
Why is Titanochorus scary? I'm not 100% clear on why we should be afraid of Titanochorus, which was a giant filter feeder. And I say giant, it was like a basketball sized. It wasn't like, it was giant for the time that it lived in.
Of this 500-million-year-old species was beyond comprehension at the time. The Titanochorus were considered giant compared to even most of the animals living in the sea at the time, which were all barely larger than a pinky finger. This mind-bogglingly large critter is to this day one of the largest animals ever found from the Cambrian period, complete with a tooth-lined mouth, spiny claws, and a body with flaps to better swim with. All of this adds up to an arthropod I'm very, very glad we don't have to deal with today.
Why? It's little bitty. It's not going to hurt you. Just like the Anomalocaris is not going to hurt you. They're like that long. They would run from you. They would go, ah, scary giant thing, because you'd be the biggest thing in the environment. You would be so huge in the world that they lived in. You would be terrifying, wading through or snorkeling through or whatever. Now, the later periods, like the Devonian, when you get Dunkleosteus in there, I don't like your odds. I think, matter of fact, if I had to speculate, I think Dunkleosteus would probably be the first mega predator that humans should be afraid of. Even at its shorter measurement, which is still huge, was 13 feet, something like 3.5 meters. Is the estimate now. Dropped down from like 5 meters. But still a huge animal. Still something to be afraid of. But that's probably the first, yeah. Let's see what's next.
Number 12, Forus racidae. With a name like Terrorbird, you get exactly what you're expecting. But if that's not enough, 2 million years ago, they...
Now I get freaking... When I play my Sesame Street Terrorbird thing, I get a goddamn copyright claim on it every time. And I have to clip it out. So why do they get to use it and I don't? I even recolor mine and edit it down and put Big Bird in there and everything. And they still say, nope, you can't use it.
They lived in the Americas and could grow to be something of 10 feet tall. Their beaks were so strong and sharp that a blow from the head could kill other animals by cracking their skulls. These apex predators from the Cenozoic era went extinct around the time of the humans.
Wait, what? Does it went around extinct around the time of the humans? Humans aren't extinct.
Though they may have lasted in a much smaller form until recently in Uruguay. They might have been flightless, but if you've ever seen the power of an ostrich, you'd know that doesn't mean it.
Actually, pay attention to a Siriema. We get sidetracked again and show you guys a Siriema. Hold on. They are awesome, and they're what this guy's based on, so... Let's see, which one are we going to do? Do y'all want to see slow motion hunting or prey thrashing? Maybe we can do both. Hold on. Gotta slim this video down just a second. There we go. So what are you all thinking? We do that one or that one? Let's do this one first.
Oh, he's beautiful too.
He is. So there are only 2 species of Seriama in their own family. They're red-legged and black-legged. And Kevin, his legs are a little dirty right now. They usually can be really bright orange or a little bit of a red hue.
Did you take his alligator away?
It's not normal for Seriama, normal for him. So when we got him, he was a tiny little kid. And a lot of the times, birds in captivity can get metabolic bone disease. So he said metabolic bone disease when he was really little. And to remedy that,
He was like, why isn't my nummy lizard breaking open so I can get some nummies inside?
we took him outside every single day when he was little. So they're just a little crooked now, but don't. Yeah, it's completely fine.
I want to kiss him. I know I can't kiss him.
I mentioned he can be really, really loud. So they're supposed to be heard up to a mile in a while. So he lives in a building that's made out of cinder blocks. So when he gets going, it can be extremely, extremely loud.
Get that lizard.
He is. Kevin, you're just missing it a little bit.
Just a little. Oh, well, that's one.
Let me point it out for you. It's kind of hard to see.
There we go.
Nice.
Do you guys feed him actual snakes for enrichment?
We don't feed him snakes, though he has caught some himself when he's been outside.
That's so
in
cute.
yards. We feed him Mises species, so little.
They put there's a treat inside of it, I think, and he's got to try to hit it on that rock to pop the treat out. We're gonna watch one more. I think this is the one on the golf course, maybe. Oh, they're so cute. These are the modern terror birds, guys. Aren't they terrifying? Look at them run now. You know, imagine that, like 500 pounds coming at you. You don't want to be... Oh, is that the same guy with the same lizard? No, we got a different lizard. Get it. See, they fed it Reese's Pieces. Birds are really dependent on sight compared to most animals, seems to me. That's why it thinks it's a lizard. So, you know, the birds can see in different spectrums of light than we can. So, they see more into the ultraviolet. I don't know. Some birds definitely see more into the infrared spectrum, like owls and stuff, nightjars, frogmouths. But let's see. I need to release the snake video on my channel. Yeah, you got snake video. I love that. And they do the whole imprinting thing. Yeah. They don't care what you look like if they think you're their mom. She fed him the treat when he hit it on the rock and not the floor. Yep. They were in the pouch on her wrist. Oh, so she was dropping them when he hit it in the right place. She would give him the treat. I gotcha. You should have a short 15 to 30 minute guest appearance or interview on Live from the Hive. Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't mind taking a guest on for a segment. Uh-huh. All right, let's get back to the other video we were watching.
Anything. Number 11, Argaventus. To continue the theme...
The animal with the best sense of smell in the world is a bird. It's a turkey vulture. Have the best sense of smell.
Of birds, this prehistoric vulture had a wingspan of 20 feet, was as tall as a human, and preyed on cattle. We know that even current-day birds are just evolved dinosaurs, but this one gives off powerful pterodactyl
Wait
energy.
a second.
They're the largest flying birds ever to exist, which compare to the current largest flying birds of the albatross.
I'm confused right now about whether he's talking about like a Hesperornis with teeth or he's talking about a Argentavis with it's a giant condor.
And the North American condor, they're more than twice the size. This seabird spent most of its time swooping above the ocean for giant prey like squid and fish, and probably ate its game both live and whole. At a breakneck speed of 10 meters per second for its flight speed, we're lucky they've gone extinct. We may not know why, but we know we're lucky. Before we continue, if you've made it this far,
it didn't even say
go
which
ahead
bird
and
it was
drop a like
talking
down
about.
below, so we know
Did
you
it?
enjoyed the video. If you want more of our unique, engaging, you
Did I
know
miss
that
it?
doesn't mean anything. Number 11, Argaventus. To continue.
Wait, ho! Argentavis, all right.
No, that doesn't mean anything. Number 11, Argaventus.
So, goodness, there's a lot to unpack in this couple of seconds here. Argentavis, because its name's from Argentina, where its remains are found. Argentavis, argent, art for Argentina, and then avis, avian, the bird from Argentina is basically what its name is. This is a dromaeosaur, like a maybe a microraptor, not a bird, it's not an aves, not as far as I can tell. It's not a paleo aves or anything like that. So
Ventus.
Now
To continue,
this is like a Hesperornis, okay, like a giant seabird from the late Mesozoic. Let me see here. Hesperornis. Hesperornis. Oh, no, Hesperornis was the ones that couldn't fly. They were like divers. What was the big bird with the teeth? Ring, help me out here. Ring. Giant bird. Paleognornithids. Paleognorniths. I'm gonna butcher that name. Paleognornithids. Paleognornithids is the proper name, I guess. Let me show you guys. So you know I'm not crazy. Well, I am a little crazy, but that's all right because I know a lot about this animal science stuff too for some reason. This is what sticks in my gourd, so you guys get to benefit from that if you want to. Trying to find a good picture of it, size comparison. There we go. And we'll do this. Okay, so Paleognornis sandersi, one of the biggest wingspans of any animal that's ever existed, but not Argentavis. It's not Argentavis. Has a wider wingspan than Argentavis, but Argentavis has a wingspan that covers a broader area because Argentavis was a soarer. So the Argentavis had bigger wings. This guy had wider wings. Here's a California condor for comparison, and a royal albatross, the two birds that are considered the biggest modern day interpretations of these organisms. I'm actually glad this came up because I didn't have a scale comparison for these, and now I can copy and use these use models. So I use models like this to make my own scales. So good stuff. All right, let's get back to the video because we still got a lot to go, and I'm actually running a lot later today, but you know, I'm feeling it actually, and I didn't do an extra segment last week, so I can afford to do one this week. And I got another thing I wanted to talk about before this is all said and done, too.
To the theme of birds, this prehistoric vulture had a wingspan of 20 feet, was as tall as a human, and preyed on cattle. We know that even current-day birds are just evolved dinosaurs, but this one gives off powerful pterodactyl energy. They're the largest.
And that's does look like what we think Argentavis may have looked like. We aren't certain it was bald, though.
Largest flying birds ever to exist, which compared to the current largest flying birds of the albatross and the North American condor, they're more than twice the size. This seabird spent most of its time swooping above the ocean.
Yeah, I say California condor was the biggest because Andean condors are the largest today. Yeah, Indian condors are like 10% bigger than California condors. So if I misspoke, you are correct, and thank you for catching me on that. Ring, always can depend on you.
For giant prey like squid and fish, and probably ate its game both live and whole. At a breakneck speed of 10 meters per second for its flight speed.
They keep showing Paleognornis in this video too. That he's jumping back and forth between pictures of two very, very distantly related birds.
They've gone extinct. We may not know why, but we know we're lucky.
With distinct beaks and distinct features, like one of them has teeth. One of them has effing teeth. And is actually a seabird, and the other one's not and lives like a condor.
Before we continue, if you've made it this far, go ahead and drop a like down below so we know you enjoyed the video. If you want more.
Now, unlike the last channel that we covered with Fernando, I don't recommend liking and subscribing to this channel. They got a good following. They got 3 million followers, but this information is bad. It's bad. This has been a bad video. Not as bad as some of the ones we've covered before, but this one's pretty bad. So, just my opinion. Got some Kong stuff going on in the image here, so I don't know where we're going with that, but let's find out.
More of our unique, engaging, and sometimes wild content, then subscribe to Forever Green while you're down there. And make sure you hit the notification bell while you're at it so you never miss a single upload. Number 10, Megalania.
Ooh.
Isn't it a bit crazy that almost all ancient civilizations have some variation of a dragon story? The Megalania may have something to do with that.
How? How would Megalania have anything to do with it if Megalania is in Australia, which was isolated for from elite from humans arrived there in 40,000 years ago. But before that, just no humans ever, no primates ever. So how would where would the dragon lore come from? And when the people did arrive there and drove this to extinction, it was another 40,000 years before any other people contacted those people, and the other people had their own dragon lore before then. Not to say that that other species of large lizards from Africa and Southeast Asia may not have contributed to localized dragon lore, but I don't think Megalania in and of itself had any contribution at all to anybody's dragon lore except perhaps the Australian indigenous people themselves.
Extinct species of giant monitor lizard inhabited Australia during the Pleistocene era, and it is the largest terrestrial lizard known to have existed. They vanished probably around 50,000 years ago, and
that's the photodon from King Kong. Not a Megalania either. I don't know why they put this weird horn on its head in this art.
Probably went extinct around the first emigration of indigenous settlers.
Photodon.
If you think you've got some nasty relatives, just think of how the Komodo dragon must feel. Number 9, Dinosaur.
Komodo dragon's pretty nasty though. Komodo dragon will mess you up. You don't want to get attacked by a Komodo dragon. You get out there, you better be carrying a big stick. Actually, one of the guys from, and that wasn't a Komodo dragon, I don't think, but I was going to say one of the guys from Lord of the Rings did his Wild Things show and got bit by a giant monitor lizard and had to be rushed to the hospital. Megalania was totally on the ark, you think so? All things play homage to the Linux god. The albatross reminds me of the Rescuers Down Under. Oh yeah, there was an albatross character. You know, albatross can have a wingspan of like 6 foot. It's amazing. Yeah, the constant like baiting is it's silly because this is giving me this. I can just farm these channels for content forever. They're so bad at doing their research and kind of just say flippant things and show. Especially what the most grievous thing that they do is, and it's just a pet peeve of mine. I know it doesn't. Is that I don't say you have to get the exact species that you're talking about. Because I understand that sometimes there's not the best footage or images or anything of the exact species that you're talking about, but I would try to get something close to it. You had like the scorpions from Clash of the Titans, the giant scorpion monsters, as the same as Eurypterids. That was wild. Having a photodon as a Megalania, when photodons, if you're interested in the lore, in the island lore of Peter Jackson's monsters, you'll be happy to know that that there's material that you can get. And I like evolution and ecology and stuff, so I'm really interested in it. But there's lots of videos on it too of the lineages of these different organisms, and the photodon is not a lepidosaur at all, which lepidosaurs are lizards and snakes.
Lucas.
It's a synapsid.
I mean, all crocodiles are terrible, but not all of them have it in the name. These bad boys lived up to the awful name. Dinosaurs of the time left fossils with Deinosuchus bites left in them. They regularly went toe-to-toe with our prehistoric predecessors. They grew up to as long as 35 feet long and were found in North America. Can you imagine one of these just walking through your yard? People freak out for less. We're just lucky they seem to have died out before the mass.
I don't know if that would be that bad. I like Deinosuchus. Just be seen as like a regular crocodile to me. Same with Megalania. I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh. It'd be like the same thing if I saw a Komodo dragon. Obviously, I'm more likely to be killed by something that's just more. The more powerful something is, the more likely it is to kill me. But I don't think that's necessarily means that would change the way that we function in our ecology. I just don't. I think we'd have the same regulations about giant crocs as we do about the big crocs we have now.
Extinction events because I'm not sure a meteor would have been able to do the job. Number 8, Platybelodon.
All right, you better leave my Platybelodon alone. I love my Platybelodon. You're just being a bully. Platybelodon's like he has to sit at the table with the, the tiny headed. What was the one from the guy with the tiny head from the Permian period? God dang it! It's gonna drive me crazy. Tiny head. What you call the Cotylarhynchus, yeah, with its super tiny head. Like these guys, these poor creatures that get teased all the time and have to sit at a table by themselves because everybody makes fun of how weird they look. I love your tiny head. Don't you let them shame you. But Platybelodon gets the same treatment because of his weird snack face.
During the Miocene epoch in Africa, Asia, and the Caucasus, you might have run across a platybelodon, which looks a lot like current-day elephants while still being distinct. They had a massive shovel of a lower jaw, used to pull up aquatic and semi-aquatic vegetation. They might have been herbivores, but current-day elephants can still be a hazard. Imagine a jaw like that, with the power behind it and the sharp incisors forming a scythe-like tool with it. No, no thank you. Number 7, Helicopter.
I don't doubt that they probably had similar characteristics to modern elephants, right? That they would go into must and be dangerous and be a threat to anybody who got too close to them. And they were big. They weren't as big as an elephant, but they were buffalo sized. Some of them I think were rhino sized. They were still pretty big animals. Not quite as big as modern elephants, though. I think Tsunami doesn't like Platybelodon. I think Tsunami's I don't know if she's still with us or not, but not her favorite animal. Now, we already talked about one species of shark like this earlier in the video. Super early in the video, if I'm not misremembering. Yeah, here it was. So we already talked about one spiral tooth shark. Let's talk about another one, though.
If you're like any sane person out there, you've probably never had the thought, I wish sharks had a buzzsaw-shaped mouth. Like most other prehistoric fish out there aren't enough fossils left to get a good idea. The Helicoprion baffled scientists for centuries as a mystery. They found bits and pieces of a jaw and finally put together its horrific form, as if we didn't have nightmares already. The whorl of teeth was created as the fish produced more towards the back rather than shedding old ones, pushing them forward into this spiral of horror. All we know is they went extinct close to 200.
Spiral of horror, yeah. So the teeth whirled back around into themselves and I probably reinforced the jawline, I would say.
125 million years ago, and good riddance. Number 6, Arthropleura. I think this might haunt me at night. The Arthropleura is not precisely the kind of thing you'd want to see out in the woods when you're alone. They might be more simple.
You don't know me very well, then. You don't know me well at all. Arthropleura would be phenomenal to run into in the woods. It'd make my day, seriously.
Similar to modern millipedes, the horror in these guys is that they're not tiny. But do you want to know something horrifying? If they had to defend themselves, they could probably rear into an upright posture and look you straight in the eyes. And
Right, but they didn't have giant toxogontophores like this. They would have had like a millipede mouth, not big, no big fangs. Sorry.
Personally, never want to repeat those words. Number 5, Leviathan Melville. You probably know better, but if a name says anything, being named after the ancient sea leviathans should tell you everything you need.
And after Moby Dick, don't forget that. Melvili or something. Melvini? Named after Herman Melville. Name escapes me at the moment. I got too much stuff in my head sometimes. Let's see here. Platypelodon. Tsunami is still here. She missed the horror of Platypelodon though, which I'm glad because she's not a fan. But I don't know if I spelled the actor's name right. Willem Dafoe. It's Willem, so it's Willum, I think.
Need to know about this beast. They are a relative to the modern sperm whales and could grow up to around 57 feet long with a skull alone that was 10 feet. Not to mention its 40 teeth at 14.5 inches long, which are, if you're wondering, the longest teeth on any creature extinct or not. They fed on large prey at the surface of the water. Though its size helped, it was probably so large because of its competitor, the megalodon. They went extinct due to the mass cooling event, which also...
I like to think that the megalodon is also my main competitor. I mean, not to brag, but if I was a megalodon, would I want to go up against me? Come on now. Think about it.
preserved many
I can do math
of their bones.
Which makes this animal the biggest tetrapod bite ever discovered.
Lucky for us, the ocean has one less horror out there. Number 4, Camarasaurus.
Aww.
Not to say there aren't giant squids out there, but the ones we have are nothing next to this one. They lived something of 460 million years ago and had a vast cone-like shell on top.
They were kind of gentle giants, though. That thing's full of gas, and they floated along in these really shallow seas, like just bobbed along like manatees. They were like manatees of their day. Not anything. Well, I mean, they weren't eating. I guess I should say that because they were eating arthropods and stuff, but they weren't like macro predators.
Which aided them in hunting. Though at their size, 40 feet long and 2,000 pounds, they probably didn't have to compete very hard. I wouldn't say this is the inspiration, but if they'd lived a little longer, I could see humans making a big deal about the deep sea kraken after seeing one of these giant creatures.
What's happening? It's a huge squid. It's got the light.
The stuff of legends, if there ever was.
I don't know what that's from. Maybe
Number
the
3,
shark.
Mega Piranha.
Maybe the Meg movies. Now they used the mutant piranha or whatever, Mega Piranha 3D kind of thing, but Mega Piranhas were different ecologically from modern piranhas. They were more solitary, but yeah, we're gonna get all kinds of nonsense about him here. Let's let him go.
Chances are the prehistoric cousin is just what you'd expect, but more horrifying than you'd think. They were the size of boogie boards and easily about 3 feet long. With 2 rows of teeth where their current successors only have 1, these monsters were known to even go after beasts like the Megalodon or Tyrannosaurus rex. With rising oceans, they were shuffled off to smaller water basins and couldn't sustain the large size, evolving down to make this change was survival. It would be nice if they were gone, but I'll take what I can get. Number 2, Megalodon.
Of course.
These whale
Megalodon has to make the list, right?
Whale-chomping monsters were a force to be reckoned with. However, we don't entirely know when the last Megalodon died. It was probably around 3.6 million years ago after a global cooling event. The scale of these massive beasts is hard to put together. Their jaws could eat a complete grown man whole. To this day, the Megalodon's 60-foot length makes them still to this day one of the most formidable carnivores to have
Why'd you say to this day twice there? That was weird.
Ever existed. We still don't have an entire skeleton, but we know they probably would have stuck to warmer climates. The coastal towns of Florida and the Caribbean islands would probably not be as hospitable if they hadn't died out. Number 1, Arctodus. Not your average bear. The Arctodus was 50% larger than any recorded polar bears and probably would have needed to eat close to 35 pounds of meat per day to sustain their size. They were native to California until about 11,000 years ago, which is far too close to modern times if you ask. 1, Arctodus.
It's Arctodus.
And the Caribbean islands would probably not be as hospitable if they hadn't died out. Number 1, Arctodus.
Arctodus. Right? Am I saying it wrong? Arctodus. The giant short-faced bear.
Not your average bear. The Arctodus was 50% larger than any recorded polar bears and probably would have needed to eat close to 35 pounds of meat per day to sustain their size. They were native to California until about 11,000 years ago, which is far too close to modern times if you ask me. They're one of the largest known mammalian carnivores to have ever existed, and probably went around the same time as the megalodon with the global cooling event.
So hold on, it's time to pull up a bear scale. Bree's all about the scales, so let's have a look here. Oh, not that way. We're gonna do it this way. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. We'll do it like that. Okay, so this is Arctodus right here. This is the even bigger Arctotherium from South America. So just to give you an idea how big these suckers were.
Do you think they'd fit in among current day animals? Or are they all just a bit too big? A few evolved and are just a more petite version of their prehistoric ancestors. But not all. Let us know your thoughts down below.
20 most ancient breeds of dog on planet Earth. Well, that's that for 24 deadliest animals you will be glad to know are extinct. I hope you guys liked my my pedantic scrutiny of this video. I'm, if anything, pedantic and scrutiginous. I don't know what the word for scrutiny would be, but yeah, I think that's going to be it for the show. I did have this thing set up to go over, but it's like 25 minutes long, and it kind of is a follow-up to something else, so I might do this independently, just by itself, and talk about it, like maybe even tonight. I don't know. We'll see. If I do, I might have some people on to hang out. Yeah, so that was a little bit of sci-fails for you. I hope that you enjoyed that and that you will continue to join us for Live from the Hive in the future, or tune in to whichever of my shows that you enjoy. I'm not saying you have to watch all of them, so that gives you the option to pick and choose what you're interested in. I do every Saturday morning. I'm here. I'll do some Cryptic Corner, where, you know, as I say in the opening tagline, every show we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. And then we do Creation Watch, where we'll look at different creation beliefs and how they impact your interaction with the world we live in. You know, mostly it's about religious zealotry, but it also often overlaps into like flat Earth stuff and young Earth creation stuff. That's mainly where I focus. And then we'll do some HiveScience, a segment where we'll do, you know, Paleo Peak, Strange Science, Eco News, or and then we'll do generally some sci-fails or something along that line. So if you're enjoying this kind of content and you want to keep seeing me put it out, let me know by hitting the thumbs up button and yeah, hitting that thumbs up button, and we will hopefully see you next time. Please remember to take care and be kind.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
How can you not believe in evolution?
Evolution.
Evolution? Tell them that you believe in evolution.
Evolution.